These nuts. What are those? These? Deets nuts. Deets and Watson. Deets nuts.
Those are nuts.
Deets nuts aren't nuts. Deets nuts are meat nuts.
Those are meat nuts.
Meat nuts. They're Deets nuts. And get one of those. Go ahead. Grab a handful of Deets nuts. Get a good grip in there. Chris, Deets nuts taste. Delicious. Fun snack. Deets and Watson. These nuts are meat nuts. Meat nuts.
Ah, got him.
What the hell is this?
Actually, that's close to its name. This is Izzy. It's the symbol of the '96 Olympics.
Well, I don't watch Olympics, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, it's just this used to be my mom's. You know, and I kind of stole it from her.
Oh, so it's like carrying a hockey stick or something.
Yeah,
yeah.
They had like they had one of these for like every thing. But yeah, the '96 Olympics, they were trying to they were trying to push this like weird message of inclusion and whatever else, and Izzy was supposed to symbolize how you could be anything you wanted because he was this amorphous blue teardrop that could turn into whatever sport.
Sure, why not?
Seems legit.
And it was he got the name because one of the people on the Olympic committee, their kid was at the office with them and asked, "What is it?" And they were like, "Okay, its name is Izzy."
That's pretty lazy, if you ask me.
Well, I'm not the one to talk shit about lazy people. It takes me like ages to actually make videos. By the way,
but I have to say, sorry to interrupt, Les, but that is pretty wholesome regarding the origin. He, all right, go ahead, boss.
Oh, I wanted to. Well, let's start with greeting our panelists. So, James, since you are already in the spotlight, and our fascist overlord, say hello.
Yes, I am the fascist overlord.
Okay, so our Il Duce isn't talkative right now for some reason.
I'm sorry.
More so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, Striker.
Tonight's stream has been brought to you by Dees Nuts. Dees Nuts! You won't stop putting them in your mouth. Dees Nuts on your mouth.
And I'm your host, Sheev Lord. Yeah, right. See, updated lower third. Anyways, so yeah. By the way, if you're wondering why I titled it, how do I even title it? Oh, I titled it Hired Gunn and Dees Nuts. Well, let's talk about Dees Nuts first. And the reason why I titled it is because there's this guy from co-founder of SPLC, which is as we now know actually stands for Sexual Perverts and Lamecocks. Well, he got booted from the organization after allegations of sexual impropriety, and his last name is
wow.
His name is like
This is nuts.
Maurice. I just imagine him just flashing, in front of women. Look at these nuts, because his name is Maurice Dees. So yeah, that's how I imagine this happening. I mean, are you even surprised? One of those moral busybodies turned out to be a fucking degenerate. Who would have thought it? What was the saying that censors have the most degenerate porn, and cops have the strongest weed? So
yeah, well, because they confiscated all of it.
Yeah. Well, anyways, let's take a look at this article from screen capture. Okay, so let's see. I think this is Dees. Maurice Dees in a SPLC video. funny how they don't. The old white guy. Why aren't they offering this position to some person of color or a woman of color or non-binary gender fluid potato kin? Fucking patriarchy.
Potato kid.
Anyways, let's take a look at this article. Let's see. For fair-minded observers, this has been a bad week for the credibility of the two most aggressive and punitive watchdogs of the right, Media Matters and the SPLC. First of all, for the fair-minded observers, there was no credibility for Media Matters and SPLC to begin with. I mean,
Yeah.
Media Matters, it's like they are. It's not a conspiracy theory to say that they are funded by. Who? What's his name? Soros, yeah. It's like official, and also they've been caught lying so often that, I mean, they're worse than CNN, and that's saying something.
Oof.
Yeah, that's almost fighting words.
Media Matters. By the way, I still remember when Steve actually was against the tactic of Media Matters of deplatforming conservative talk show hosts. Because a long time ago, when Steve Shives still had some integrity left, he actually criticized them, said that even when people we don't like, well, we should let them talk and not shut down the dialogue, even if they're saying things that are offensive or distasteful. At least give them a chance, and even if they are beyond redemption, at least this debate might inspire people who are on the fence to take sides. Yeah, but back in the day, Steve Shives actually made sense. Imagine that.
Oh dear lord! Wait, the Southern Poverty Law Center? Holy shit!
Yeah.
These fucking degenerates. I mean, if people who think that they are legit, they are too stupid to matter. Because come on, at this point they've been mired in controversy so much. And thanks to Peter Hassan at the Dale Caller News Foundation, we discovered a stunning hypocrisy. Let's take a look at this stunning and brave hypocrisy. Oh, hey, Darren.
Hey!
Hey, yo, I at least made it before 9. Show yourselves.
So this is our resident Bill Hicks. And since you're just arrived, we're talking about this.
And I don't mean only if you work in marketing. I mean all of you.
Oof.
Yeah.
I thought it was Harry Potter on Matt. For real. For real.
Okay.
I thought that was Harry Potter or Crystal Meth. Not Bill
I've seen a UFO split the sky like a sheet, but I have never once looked at Bill Hicks and thought he was Harry Potter on meth.
Were you on meth and thought he was Harry Potter, or
That was a reference to a Bill Hicks bit. Not everybody's going to get that.
No.
Or, well, I could say Daniel Radcliffe on crack. I don't know. Whatever.
Quit while you're ahead, dude.
yeah?
Yeah.
Well, since you mentioned him.
Yeah.
There's several of the memes.
Yeah, those are classic.
Oh,
movies.
you're a grand wizard, Harry. Yeah, that one.
So the SPLC back in the news again because somehow they're still taken seriously.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, at least this guy, the co-founder Maurice Dees, is accused of sexual impropriety.
Yeah, and
Yes,
Media
it's
Matters is just
crimes.
basically another one of those Soros-funded organizations.
Yeah. They actually there was actually something some astonishing hypocrisy of Media Matters. It's a separate story. We'll talk about this later after we finish this. Oh yeah, I mean I don't know I think that Media Matters is worse than SPLC because Media Matters they managed to have bigger influence. SPLC is kind of they used to have a lot of influence, but now. A while back, FBI dropped them as a legit source. So
As they should, because even lefties hate the SPLC a lot of the time. Like Majid Nawaz is not exactly a conservative, and he's kind of a pro-Islamic Muslim
and yet SPLC,
lefty.
yeah, SPLC,
And he had to sue them for $3.28 million or something for defamation because they called him an anti-Muslim extremist.
Yeah.
When he is a Muslim and is a Muslim advocate or Islamic advocate.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots.
You know why they call him the reason they called him an anti-Muslim extremist is some stupid shit like the fact that he went to a strip club. Like something like that.
Well, he's also a reformist. He wants to kind of liberalize Islam, which means he's anti-Islam, technically. That's the funny part.
Well, I guess it depends on how you define it. It's like when Catholics and Protestants split. Well, both of them, thought that they were
basically, Majid Nawaz is sort of like, who Imam Tawhidi is? The fucking woke Imam guy? He's like that. He's a liberal Islamist, basically.
I mean, if more Muslims were like him, then I wouldn't have such a problem with this religion.
Yeah, nobody would really care.
Basically, you have to wait until the girl's 12 before you can tap her.
We'll talk about James Gunn later. Don't worry.
Even Japan waited till 13.
Well, speaking of age of consent, did you know that a lot of European countries have lower age of consent for girls than you might think? Like, actually,
Yeah.
I mean, now as a 30-year-old man, I think 18 is pretty good. Maybe 17. Anything lower than that is weird.
When it comes to the bulk of European age of consent laws that have been there from before the Muslim immigration, pretty much the ages, while kind of on the low side, are still above the average late onset puberty. I mean, it's pretty much across the board. The ages that of consent in the European countries, you can still pretty much across the board, every girl of whatever age it is gonna be past puberty.
Well,
I'm not trying to endorse the thing, but I'm just saying at least there's that.
It depends on what you mean by puberty, because in modern society where we're all so well nourished and everything, people are maturing faster and girls are hitting quote unquote sexual maturity by like age 11. So I don't really care about that point.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not talking. I'm not saying that old enough.
Are you telling us that
I'm talking about that the laws in Europe where they say like 14, a 14-year-old girl is almost universally, well into or done with puberty. So I'm like, okay, I mean, from a biological evolutionary standpoint, etc. and so forth, so all right, fine, as long as they don't try to come over here and endorse whatever the fuck else. I'm like,
with the
all right, fuck it. I can,
Darren, with your 11-year-old thing, are you telling us that Muslims were visionaries?
No, I'm just saying that if you count sexual maturity as able to get pregnant and have a period,
No,
a lot of girls are hitting that earlier than ever.
This is not sexual maturity.
Yeah, I would agree. That's not what everybody means when they say it.
Just a minute. Turn on the chat. Yeah. Anyways, by the way, your resolution to not talk over each other for today, it didn't work out already.
What? So far, so good.
Well, we're at least holding up somehow. Well, it's actually, back in the day when on my old channel on the live streams, it used to be actually much worse. Sometimes I had to kick people out of the stream. Give them warnings and said, "Oh, just don't make me go full Hitler." I mean, okay, tonight to a concentration camp you go. Anyways, studying hypocrisy. The man who helps the organization that comes through the past of every conservative public figure looking for evidence of hate and bigotry has his own history of hateful posts. Well, what do you know?
Nothing new here.
And now the SPLC faces its own internal challenge. Yesterday, the SPLC fired its legendary co-founder. Legendary?
Well, now he certainly is legendary.
Yeah, Maurice Dees.
Dees nuts.
Ha! Got him.
Unspecified inappropriate conduct. Well, as I said, he probably flashed, in front of women yelling, "Look at these nuts."
Oh, yeah. That's probably what he said.
Maybe it's sort of like what Stick says. Maybe he just referred to a black butler as the help or something. I mean, like, these days, even it doesn't matter who it is. I'm like, I want to know what the guy said.
Yeah.
Kind of interested.
Well,
Me too.
when it comes
Hashtag
to,
me too.
And since he's 82, what'd he do? Like, use the phrase, like, call somebody a spade or something? Like, what did he do? It's probably the tamest thing ever.
Yeah.
well, it doesn't matter. Since they attack others for the slightest appearance,
Yeah, we
impropriety.
should hold them to their own standards.
Yeah.
Well, they already eat their own. We don't got to worry about that.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean we can't just give it a little push.
Yeah. Or at least gloat a bit. Because
Yeah, it's like when I want to say leftists are like gravity. All you need is a little push.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good Joker impression.
Thanks.
Anyways, oh, by the way, I don't think it was just something he said, because inappropriate conduct, and then they hired an outside organization to conduct a comprehensive assessment of its internal climate and workplace practices. I think it's something more.
They hired an external company to do the inappropriate contacts.
Well, I mean,
That's called a strip club, lady. You don't have to over editorialize.
Well, I think there's something. I bet he was like trying to sexually harass a secretary or something, because that's it's not like they want to do this. They wouldn't do this if they could avoid it. But there's probably something something serious brewing, so that's why they have to. Especially since this is probably not cheap, or at least it's not free. So why would an organization spend money on something like that if they can avoid it? So something is probably going on there. Yes. According to Los Angeles Times, SPLC might have a tolerance problem. Huh?
You really think? You think so?
I really want to know what he said. My money is on it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I wish they fired him for nothing.
I'm only
to
about
show
50-50.
how much. Yeah. I'm
about
also
50-50
on the
on
mind
bets
that
on the
he
show.
maybe deserved it.
I wish they fired him from a cannon. The Times has also learned that the organization, whose leadership is predominantly white, got him.
You don't say.
Has been wrestling with complaints of workplace mistreatment of women and people of color. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually, well, you know how Vox and Vice, the woke publications have Vice had so much problems with sexual harassment that they had to, there was a point in their contract where employees were prohibited from complaining about workplace ethics.
Do you remember when was it the Huffington Post? Like I forget if it was the Huffington Post or which organization it was, but they put up a picture of their boardroom, and it was all women. They're like, check out our all women boardroom, and the first comment on the post was like, "You're all very white." Like somebody just immediately dragged them on it. And it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, it was Huffington Post.
Yeah, look, I found this picture, by the way.
I think every last one of them had glasses too. Wait, nope. No, never mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, there's.
Yeah, that's the image, though. Yes.
Yeah, it's
exceedingly hard to full screen.
Oh, it's just that it's on one of those websites that I've blacklisted in the. what's the name of this extension? Oh, yeah, there it is. Well,
Right
I mean, I think that maybe some of them. Well, there's an Asian, so another Asian, so it's not as white. Well, then again, Asian, Caucasian, yeah, close enough. But
And
yeah,
there
the
is
fact
there's a
Well,
Hispanic over
Asian
there.
basically is white nowadays in the progressive stack. They've turned on the Asians.
they're actually more privileged than whites, so there's that.
And a lot of them want to be on the cutting edge, so they're just admitting it and going, okay, you're not people of color anymore. We're throwing you under the bus for credibility.
You might say that they're whitewashing them.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah, they got so much privilege that Harvard doesn't even want anything to do with them regarding the admissions. Yeah,
Let's continue. It was not immediately clear whether those issues were connected to the firing of Dees, who is 82. Well, I guess they were, because it's an interesting coincidence that a lot of employees complained about mistreatment, and then they kicked out one of their bigwigs. That's an interesting quinky-dink. Also Thursday, employees sent correspondence to management demanding reforms, expressing concerns about the resignation last week of a highly respected black attorney at the organization and criticizing the organization's work culture. I actually haven't heard about this. Who is this black attorney, and why did he resign? Well, might try to find information about that. A letter signed by about 24 employees. How many employees do they have, anyways? I thought that the 24 is like everyone they have. It's not like they're doing anything useful. So why would they have like a lot of employees? And sent to management at and the board of directors before news broke of Dees firing. Said they were concerned that internal allegations of mistreatment, sexual harassment, told you, gender discrimination and racism threatened the moral authority of this organization and our integrity along with it. What moral authority? This organization is, it has none already.
Not anymore, anyway.
Yeah.
Some people say that they were instrumental in getting rid of the KKK, but the KKK hasn't been that popular since the 50s. But they've been around for a long time. Maybe back then they did something.
They've been around for a long time, but now it's practically dead. They wouldn't even be on the ballot on an election.
Well, I was just saying maybe the SPLC did have something to do with discrediting or unpopularizing the KKK, because the SPLC, I think, has been around since like the 60s or 50s or something.
Well, I don't know what they do now. Something tells me maybe those KKK they discredit, maybe not all of them were actually KKK. Because if they are, this bad now, well, maybe they used to be legit, and then after they, there were no legit, bigots to fight, they started to, trying to find bigots wherever they could. Who knows? Or maybe they were bullshitters all along.
Late homosexual.
Oh, welcome, Nick. Welcome to the show.
Hey, right.
Make fun of my dad one more fucking time. Hyperloop the second. Oh, is it like a reference to Thundercock and his...
No, Elon Musk.
Oh.
I made this back when Elon Musk was getting... when he was being made fun of for the fucking weed on Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah.
Of all the things to make fun of you, come on. First
Make fun of my dad one more fucking time.
But it's funny why are people making fun of him smoking weed? First of all, weed is legal in that state where it was, right?
Yeah.
I certainly hope.
Because weed is federally illegal and Elon Musk shouldn't do illegal things.
Yeah, even though I think he still has a contract with the government because they literally have no other way to get into space right now. Yeah, you smoked the devil's lettuce, so we're going to let everyone in the ISS starve or be behest to the Ruskies. Yeah, no, that's not happening.
I'll be honest. In this case, he should have put some D's on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, at least he wasn't smoking DMT or something. Or else it would be an even more
Yeah, you might have been more coherent. Shit. Won't have that. Don't want to have that. Shit.
Well, I don't remember when... since I showed the picture of Dusty Shives, when he actually was entertaining, he was smoking DMT on camera, and some retards were reading at him. And of all the things to criticize him for, this was like, oh, he's glamorizing the use of drugs.
For a short,
Hell yeah,
for a short
motherfucker.
period of, there was a short period of time where YouTube relaxed its position on drug use. That was right around the time that like the drunken peasants became popular because they just started smoking weed on camera. And Dusty was smoking bowls of weed on like every last one of his videos.
It was great. I still have an early Drunken Peasant shirt. It's a good shirt. It's just, you know.
Drunken Peasants was a good show for the first year or so.
It was. It really was.
I don't think I've ever laughed harder in my life than when, remember the episode where TJ told the Asian dildo vendor joke? This dildo's so good it make you feel like you'll get torn up inside. You feel like you get fucked by a horse.
Man. Is Ben still doing that, or did they kick TJ out? Like, what's going on with that?
I think Ben and I don't know who Ben was
Scotty.
with, but they why don't I remember his name? The other fat guy in TJ.
Scotty's his brother.
No, not Scotty. The other big guy.
Paul Zigo?
Yeah. How did I forget Paul Zigo's name? Yeah. Paul Zigo and TJ broke off and made their own thing. It's called Deep Fat Fried, which is like the worst name ever.
Oh,
I never
God.
watched
Like,
it.
Ben and Scotty were the best things about that show. If TJ's no longer on it, I should actually watch it again.
Yeah.
They were a lot better before they moved to Seattle, and they were just too high and fucked up all the time to function and run the show.
Ben was the tard wrangler on that show. I have mad respect for him.
Yeah, and now
He stopped wrangling tards and started becoming one.
I've seen the last video of TJ. He has a jihadi beard.
I was gonna say, does he have a super gun or what? I mean, he's
No.
always had one.
Yeah.
Oh, hello there, Broken Heart.
Hello,
Broken.
everyone.
Holy crap! It's been a while.
Oh my
Yeah,
god! Oh my
that's-
lord!
I only got about an hour or so though, but
That's okay. I've had 2 whiskeys. I'm good, mate.
We got a full house tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
I am never joining this stream sober again. That's just not a good time.
So did we decide not to give a shit about what this guy Dees said? Or we just
let's go.
Yeah, we can do it. Okay, well, I just had to make a big fucking tard entrance. That's all. We're good.
No, it's all good. We always get a little bit off topic.
For those who joined us later, we are talking about co-founder of SPLC being booted out for unspecified inappropriate behavior.
Because he's a white man. Let's face it.
Well, like most of them are like white because it's
The sexual harassment part, though, is interesting. Maybe that's a little bit more serious.
Yeah, so let's see. Today, the Alabama Political Reporter reported that multiple SPLC employees wrote a joint email after a senior attorney resigned and accused Dees of sexual harassment. Yeah, called it. Called it. And SPLC cover-ups and retaliation. Dees denies the allegations.
Got him!
I mean, again, the question is like, why is it always these really progressive organizations? Seriously, I mean, the other thing is also is like there was what was it? There was a while back we read an article about how the open source thing, like CEOs or like heads of projects and stuff like that, were told never to be alone with a woman because they were trying to get scalps. Remember that? It's just like
I don't.
ooh. It wasn't on Wall Street. It was like there was a certain group that was trying to get open source scalps.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, this is really how they try. Well, at least this happens after SJW destroyed several online communities, so people were more
Andy.
were ready for this shit.
Yo, Andy, how's it going?
So who's broadcasting from the middle of the street, though? I'm curious.
I think
Yeah.
that's the
Probably
joke.
me.
Yeah, who's near a racetrack?
Hey guys, hey
That might be
Worfsky here.
All I hear is B8. And
Well, it's
then some.
it's a regular racetrack. At least it's not NASCAR.
A combination of a Canadian and a fucking Neanderthal, and you have Andy Worski.
Blah-blong. Now that's fucking based.
Oh, let's continue. The employee's email alleged multiple instances of sexual harassment by Dees, and it alleges that reports of his conduct were ignored or covered up by SPLC leadership. A subsequent letter from other SPLC employees demands an investigation into the alleged cover-up of Dees' alleged harassment. The emails noted that multiple female SPLC employees had resigned over the years due to the harassment and/or the subsequent retaliation by SPLC leadership when they reported the incidents. We lost Andrew. Some maybe connection issues. Oh. Okay. Probably has an issue with the microphone. So
Yeah.
Because well, there was no sound from his side, right? No, at least I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything. Well, he was muted though.
Was he?
He was muted for at least for a couple of minutes when I was on.
Well, like mic issue. So anyway, let's move on. He'll probably be back.
Anyways, let's continue. Reported instance. Okay. The SPLC, as readers may know, has lately busied itself with greatly expanding its definition of hate groups and extremists, as if those their definitions weren't too broad already.
Well, I mean, they gotta keep finding new hate groups, or else their purpose ceases.
Yeah, that's the problem with those special interest groups. They will, as long as they will have to come up with something to do, because if they admit that they're, it's done for them, they won't get money or power or whatever they're after. So yeah. It recently paid a $3.4 million settlement and issued a formal apology. Yeah, that's Nawaz's name. Yeah, I remember. For labeling British Muslim Majid Nawaz as anti-Muslim extremist. Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was also forced to apologize for posting an extremist file on Dr. Ben Carson. Yeah, Dr. Ben Carson. Ben Carson, an extremist, it's kind of hard to imagine those in the same sentence. I mean, when he ran for president, he was doomed because he was too soft-spoken and then, come on, it's not aggressive enough. So what kind of extremist would it be? Well, the only extreme belief he has is he has two sets of extreme quote-unquote beliefs. One is like a young Earth creationism, and the other one is like sort of a form of wee-woo skanks. Not as crazy as some others, but still wee-woo skanks.
The fucking pyramid shit, whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, if you think about him, Ben Carson is actually you can think of him as a embodiment of American dream, because he was born in a poor family to a single mother, and everything was stacked against him, and yet his mother managed to give him the love for learning and for reading books, so he managed to not only dig himself out of this situation, but actually became a world-famous surgeon and had a political career. So I think it's a pretty inspiring tale. If only he didn't have really, really stupid beliefs, but then again, oh well.
Well, you can't have it all.
Given that he's not just a famous surgeon, but he was the first person to operate on twins conjoined at the head.
Head, I think, right? Yeah.
So it's first in the world. So that's not a small. Yeah, it's and funny how the left likes to point at him and laugh, even though even calling him like, oh, he's stupid, he's uneducated. I think they don't let you operate on people if you're uneducated. Just saying.
Let me say it like this: the reason why the left hated Ben Carson so much was the fact that he was an Uncle Tom to them.
Yeah, I mean that's absolutely obvious.
And as we all know, if a black man tries to better himself, they're gonna deal with what is called the crab mentality. Which means you have to drag a bunch of niggas down with you, because you don't want them to shine. You don't want them to be success. You don't want them to be successful. You don't want to get.
Well, then you can't get your free shit, as Jesse Lee Peterson might say. Amazing.
Yeah, basically,
Gleb.
you would stay in the ghetto for the rest of your life.
If you want to show the one person who is not a pussy in the Australian government, that's just the link I shared.
Well, let's take a look at this after we finish this article.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Ben Carson. Would actually, I haven't heard about this story. Well, we can take a look at this as well. It calls AEI's Charles Murray a white nationalist, even though American Enterprise Institute, aren't they kind of like shilling for Israel, like most conservative think tanks do?
Let's see, actually.
Oh yeah, they have branded Ayan Hirsi Ali, a former Muslim who fled terrible oppression in Somalia and even now faces jihadist threats on her life, an anti-Muslim extremist. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but she said Islam is a false religion, so she's a horrible person.
Fucking SPLC, I swear. It unconsciously calls my former employer, well, not this guy who wrote this, David French's employer, former employer, Alliance Defending Freedom, an anti-LGBT hate group. Alliance Defending Freedom. Fuck are they? Never actually heard of them. Oh, some religious group. If only they were Muslims. If it was a Muslim group against same-sex marriage, they wouldn't have a problem with it. But if it's a Christian group against same-sex marriage or whatever, it's bigoted.
Well, I mean, I think that there's schools in Britain that were teaching like was it gender stuff or whatever, trans, whatever the hell, and a bunch of Muslims complained.
Yeah.
And I think they actually stopped. They actually stopped.
Yeah, no, they actually stopped.
Yeah, because of that. Well, at least you know what they should have.
They're even actually want to pander to people who are unintolerant. Surprisingly.
So basically, it's like send nignogs against Thaggies.
Muslims are always the highest on the progressive stack because they're the ones who, instead of just whining or bitching or trying to boycott something, will shoot up the place if you try to remove their fucking privilege.
Yeah.
I mean, it just shows. I mean, it's like it just shows like all these trans issues and stuff like that. It's just a fucking prop. It just straight up is a prop. They don't actually give a shit.
No.
Yeah, remember when Ben?
God damn, dude.
Ben is Affleck. I remember this. When even fucking Bill Maher is the voice of reason.
You know what's the funniest thing about Ben Affleck? He ended up moving where he was staying from. I think George Clooney was the main guy who did it, but I think Ben Affleck was also one of the guys. Like, there was a lot of Hollywood people staying in Italy, and Italy let a lot of migrants in, and a lot of those Hollywood elites.
And then there's Clooney's wife.
Italy.
Isn't he also the one that like grabbed some chick's boob or something, and he had to apologize for that? Was that Ben Affleck?
Well, didn't his wife also rape a kid?
I heard he divorced Jennifer Garner, or she divorced him because he was cheating. I don't know. That's the same with all of them. And Ben Affleck was known as being like a fucking frat bro. Like that was his lifestyle.
He is.
It was Hillary Burton, and he like grabbed her on camera or some shit.
Yeah, I remember. I think I remember this.
He's a fucking high schooler if you just stuffed him in a suit.
I mean, like, what's the worst Bill Maher's done except for fuck Ann Coulter?
No, I think that's the worst Ann Coulter's done. I'm sure Bill Maher's done far worse.
Yeah, no, that's.
But I mean, the thing is, like, I don't think I've heard. Has there been any like allegations against Bill Maher?
Probably because no one would want to embarrass themselves.
Yeah, it would be way more embarrassing for anyone being accused of it
because he's a friggin' Democrat. Which surprises me that he hasn't been involved in anything.
I mean, I think it's mostly just because
I don't know. There's the whole advocating for child rape.
I mean, I honestly think it's because he's mostly just because he's been fucking Ann Coulter and that he doesn't had anyone else.
He got a little too high for his britches there.
Well, since we mentioned him,
fuck you, Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Not anything in particular, just fuck him.
Elitist. No, actually, don't fuck him. Don't fuck him.
Anytime anybody's ever fact-checked Bill Maher, he's just basically a guy who doesn't really look into anything he talks about, so he sticks his foot in his mouth very often.
I'm a comedian. Shut up, goy.
And he even fucks up with the progressive agenda and all that shit pretty often because he doesn't even stay abreast of what the fuck he's supposed to be thinking on their side of the field either, so he pisses them off just as often.
Well, I mean,
progressive hate Bill Maher, dude.
Well, I mean, he's also free speech, right? Like, he's been sticking by that, if I recall correctly. So, I mean,
yes, free speech.
So they really fucking hate him for that. No, I think he actually, right?
Yeah, he is.
Unless I'm wrong.
Yeah, like he's for free speech, and he still is an unashamed critic of Islam, which are two things that I have to give him credit for.
Yeah.
He's
also
he's Shrek Fedora until the day he dies. Yeah.
He's also an anti-vaxxer, so he's got a lot of failings.
He's also one of the board members of PETA, so for that he needs to burn in hell eternally, and then burn some more.
Yep,
he also
Hollywood.
He also disregards his detractors as incels.
Oh yeah, like fucking NPC. But that's the funny thing. When someone defaced his poster and made him into an NPC, he started calling them incels, like an NPC would, proving their point. This was so beautiful and such a lack of self-awareness.
And don't anybody forget that frickin' Stan Lee wasn't in the ground for a week before he started trying to shit on Stan Lee's entire legacy for no reason.
Well, actually,
because he's never done anything worthwhile in his life, he doesn't understand what it's like to create something of value.
Well, I think that Stan Lee was just an excuse for him to yell at that orange man bad. It's like
that's his entire life.
I thought he was pulling a Gavin McInnes and trying to be kind of edgy by saying something popular was shit. But no, he was just taking a shot at Trump from the longest roundabout way possible.
Well, it's still kind of Gavin McInnes.
Remember, there are no bad targets, only bad tactics.
But the funny thing is that
movie glob
so bad. Basically,
you got that backwards though.
Remember what he said? His argument was that people, adults reading comic books are so childish that they, that's why we have, elected Trump. But
coming from the man whose half of his joke repertoire is about weed and getting high. Childish.
Wait. You can use the same argument saying, well, just because, adults are so childish and read comic books, they elected Obama twice. Same argument.
Well,
wait a minute, that's not really an argument. That's kind of an explanation.
Bill Maher just hasn't evolved his shtick since the Clinton administration. I mean, smoking weed was edgy in 1996.
Yeah. That's maybe they're...
now it's one. Pretty much mainstream at this point.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
everybody smokes at least a little weed, except for people who don't get along with it. Yeah.
Or who are already on methylphenidate.
Oh, by the way, it wouldn't be our live stream if we didn't talk about drugs at some point. One checkbox checked already. Anyways, let's continue. Activists cite SPLC designations as grounds for attempting to attack and deplatform speakers at universities, block judicial nominations, and deny access to charitable giving programs. SPLC hate group designations have even inspired violence. Oh, it was... I remember this story.
So calling words violence kind of backfired there, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, actually,
seems like it was a stupid idea to begin with. Wow.
No. It was actually some leftist psycho attacked someone who was labeled as a extremist by SPLC.
That's my point.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. People who think that SPLC has any credibility, they are too stupid to be allowed to reproduce. Then again, nobody would fuck them anyways. But yeah.
Yeah,
or
so
they're
you
boomers.
have to have a chance of reproducing to be worried
9
about
times
whether
out of
you
10, they're
should.
boomers, so too late for that.
At the same time, SPLC has amassed immense financial resources using its exaggerated and alarmist rhetoric to raise immense sums of money from frightened, well-meaning progressive donors. Quoted in the LA Times, Yale professor Stephen Bright had some choice words for Dees and the SPLC. The chickens have had a very long trip, but they finally came home to roost. Yeah. Morris is a flim-flam man, and he's managed to flim-flam his way along for many years, raising money by telling people about the Ku Klux Klan and hate groups, he said. He sort of goes to whatever will sell and has, of course, brought in millions and millions and millions of dollars. Yeah, pretty accurate. Final paragraph of the Times story are telling. Oh, LA Times, oh.
They would say he had some choice words for these and his nuts.
Wait, LA Times? Even LA Times shit in them. Is LA Times kind of like leftist rag
Yes.
or? Huh. Interesting. When even your fellow leftists don't like you, that's something. While the SPLC funded some good work, Wright said he had long heard complaints about race discrimination and sexual harassment from the center's former attorneys and interns. Yeah, it's like, shoe cobbler without shoes. They fight bigotry everywhere except in their own ranks. I mean, if they didn't have double standards, they would have no standards at all. It's remarkable, he said, how many people who have worked at the center have not spoken very well of the center after they left. It's almost as if, those progressive organizations are shitholes where, full of things worse than the ones they pretend to fight against. No one disputes that SPLC has done some good and valuable work. Well, actually, given the modern behavior, I'm not so sure anymore. I would need a citation for that. But has squandered its position of trust with the public and the media. SPLC's internal problems highlight a truth that's been plain for years. It's time to stop treating the group with the credibility it no longer deserves. Yeah, it's time to stop. Insert this, the Filthy Franks meme.
It's time to stop.
He needs to do that with his music, but all right.
Yeah, so there was this article, and speaking of, there were there's like their official statement. Oh, it's about the Ben Carson. In October 2014, we posted an extremist file of Dr. Ben Carson. This week, reviewed our profile and have concluded that it did not meet our standards. What standards? You don't have any standards.
What did Dr. Carson say that was extreme? He's like a milquetoast conservative.
Yeah, and he's so soft-spoken that it's really, I don't know. Taking it down and apologize to Dr. Carson for having posted it. We also have come to the conclusion that the question of whether a better research profile of Dr. Carson should or should not be included in our extremist files and taken attention from the fact that Dr. Carson has in fact made a number of statements. So basically, they're sorry, not sorry. That's
the way it is with their reasoning. If they're right wing, they're extremists, and if they're extremists, they're right wing. What is circular reasoning? Oh my God, I can't even say that word today. Circular reasoning.
I think it's a statement that expresses views that we believe most people will conclude are extreme. Well, it depends on how you define extreme. Like extreme is a very vague and nebulous term.
It's a synonym for right wing.
Oh, let's take a look at these. We laud Dr. Carson for his many contributions to medicine, blah, 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 blah. So those views. Marriages between a man and a woman. So why didn't they include, Hillary Clinton in their, extremist files? That's what she said. It's a well-established pillar of society, and no group, be they gays, be they non-blah, be they people who believe in bestiality, it doesn't matter what they are. They don't get to change the definition. Yeah, it's so.
That's not wrong.
I mean, it's probably a very extreme to furries because
that's why I always thought it was hilarious whenever anybody mentioned I'm against gay marriage, but I'm okay with civil union. When it comes to the government, those are the exact same thing. The only reason why I was ever pro-gay marriage is to say that any rights that are afforded to married couples in America should be afforded to officially recognized unions of same-sex people because of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. Equal protection under the law. But that doesn't mean like any church has to. do it, and no church that adheres to either the Quran or the Bible strictly would ever do it because it's against doctrine. So, like, whatever. And I also, in supporting of the First Amendment, don't believe any church should have to marry you, or why you should give a shit as an atheist, why you should give a shit if a church does. The only thing that matters is the fucking benefits and the legal change in your status. So civil unions is all anybody should have ever given a shit about.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, for me, when the whole gay marriage thing first started, I basically was like, I mean, just the default position because I'd never really thought about it. And I mean, I really didn't see what the point of gay marriage was and all. But then I started actually paying attention to the debate. And I started hearing all these people, and I sit there and I actually looked up civil union because they were like, well, no marriage, but we're okay with civil union. I went and actually looked it up. And then I was like, okay, well, what if you want to get out of a civil union? And I found out that you actually have to file for divorce.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, and it's like, it's like, so you're okay with them having exactly down letter by letter the same rights, responsibilities, privileges, and liabilities of marriage, up to and including having to actually file divorce.
Well,
but
I mean,
that's like saying that's like sitting there and saying that somebody sits there and takes a .45 caliber pistol and shoots you in the foot with it. Oh no, that's not a gunshot wound. That was a high velocity metallic injury.
I mean,
it's called a high speed lead poisoning.
Well, I mean, one of the arguments against civil unions was you shouldn't have it like where straight people get married and gay people have civil unions because you do that whole, you can't have separate but equal. Now, if everybody got civil unions and then like people went to church to go get married or whatever, okay, fine. But legally speaking, you have to have you should have everybody
But the
have
point
the
is
same
that
standard.
civil unions are marriages and vice versa. It's just a different name.
That's
It is the
why
exactly the same thing.
That's why I actually became a supporter. Is because I was like, I mean, because I was like, yeah, okay, civil unions I can see because it was for people who didn't want to get married, but there were certain parts of marriage which I felt that should actually. And I was like, okay, I actually agree with civil unions or whatever, and never really paid much attention to any of it.
And
that's when I became a supporter when I saw, but the entire thing, it was none of the arguments about it's going to have a bad effect on society or it's going to affect traditional marriage or none of that. All of that was bullshit.
Well, the point is that there is
it was an ideological pissing contest over a fucking word.
Yeah, there's the religious institution of marriage, which I do not give a shit about, and I don't think anybody sincerely does except for religious zealots. And then there's the government contract marriage.
I have to say the very only difference between a civil union and a marriage is that a civil union is done at the town hall. And
then marriages.
Yeah, you can you don't have to get married in a church. Legally it's not even a part of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
so there's literally no difference.
A town hall is the only place where you can get a civil union.
No.
No.
You get a civil union at the same place you get your marriage license.
Shut up! I was trying to sound smart.
Of it all, marriage.
All right, Bill Maher,
are both done at City Hall.
I think we're all on the same page here.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, my only thing is, as long as
you're aware of it,
as long as essentially you need to have, you can't have again, you can't have straight people get quote marriages and then gay people have civil unions because one that's like the whole separate but equal, and then two also like later down in the future if people start putting restrictions on civil unions, then it makes it not equal. That
won't happen.
Never should have been allowed any.
I mean, it could happen.
14th Amendment.
Very well could.
And they're not. There's literally no difference. The civil union is the government part of it with all the benefits, inheritance, legal rights. The only what everybody religious was freaking out about was the religious institution of marriage, which is just nothing but symbolism and tradition, whatever the fuck.
Getting married in a church, basically.
It's a ritual.
A lot of gays get married in church now.
Well,
But
that's probably because
it's irrelevant because the document that it legally makes you married is still filed with the state. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. That was my point all along. Yeah.
But the thing is that the reason why a lot of gays marry in the church, probably because in some jurisdictions the churches are like the only place you can, that's provides the ceremonies, anyways. So
well, legally, all the
ceremony
fucking
isn't
government
legally
places
binding.
have to. Do you remember just right after the Defense of Marriage Act was stricken down that there was some lady in like Alabama who was at a county clerk's office who was like refusing to issue them and ended up getting charged with and fired?
Yeah, I actually agree with the fact
because
that
she was violating people's rights.
Yeah,
I mean, it's her fucking job
to issue the license.
Exactly. She was refusing
governmental function.
I mean, that's as stupid as was it in England? The Muslims were suing because they had to handle alcohol bottles and put them on the fucking shelves. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, God. Oh, speaking of Muslims getting pissed off, over in the UK, I can't remember which school district it is, actually got rid of their LGBTQ curriculum because of complaints from Muslims.
Yeah, we were all mentioning it today, actually. But anyways, the thing about her name was like Kim something. So yeah, I remember. The funniest thing is that she looked like some really messed up, not messed up, but methed up white trash, basically. I mean, she knew she would be on the news. Might as well at least could have, I don't know, combed her hair and dressed in something nice and not this some rags that look like, I don't know, someone was using it to wipe the cum stains from the sofa or something. Ugh. But by the way, the funniest thing that this story in my mind will always be related to the ousting of Jacqueline Glenn for being serial plagiarist, because basically forgot what the name of the guy was. So this guy made a video about this story, and then a couple days later, she made a video where she just literally using the same words, even said the same exact things that he said. And the funniest thing is that it's like she didn't even need to, because it's really simple story. It's not like if there was something, I don't know, related to physics or something else is complicated. Then you could say that, well, she didn't know, so she just parroted someone else. But this, any idiot could have made a video about that. Just not even like write a script, just blabber from without.
The only reason anybody cares about Jacqueline Glenn is because she's got fake tits.
Jacqueline Glenn has tits now?
Well, she literally got a boob
I
job.
have to actually even find out who the hell Jacqueline Glenn is at some point.
I first found out
Not
who she
even-
was
not even
when I
worth,
was when I was on old atheist YouTube. She's from way back, and even back then, I'm like, you're very boring, and I don't care about your opinion, and I'm not going to watch you just because you're female.
Oh, well, by the way,
that was the thing. It's like, what tits? She doesn't have any.
Yeah,
she did
got
it.
a boob job. She literally got a boob job.
Because she's like
Now
anorexic.
she does.
She's real thin.
By the way,
That's what I mean.
Egon in the chat says that the name of this clerk was Kim Davis. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Kim
Davis, that's
Davis.
it.
That was it. Yeah, thank you, Egon.
no, it was Kim Il-sung.
Oh yeah, that old lady.
Yeah, she looked like someone who had very little happiness in her life.
And if she was standing there trying to keep like hordes of zombie faggots away from her church, I'd be right there with her. They don't have any right to be in her church, but they weren't in her church. They were in the clerk's office. It's not the same place, lady.
And of course,
the clerk's
she's
office,
the worst.
A public fucking place.
I'm not screen sharing, by the way. Oh yeah, so
I'm not even one of those bake the cake people. I think I don't think people should have to bake the cake, but no, you're the government, bitch. You got to do it.
Yeah,
I mean, the thing is, with regards to that too, is like she had 3 fucking marriages. Wait, hold on. Let me remember the sequence
she
again.
Got married this fat bitch got married 3 times?
No, yeah, she got married. Okay,
everybody's
so the sequence. Okay, the sequence was she was married to her first husband. She had an affair with her second husband.
Oh my
and
god.
Then
Well, this
I
is
think,
white trash. Why am I surprised?
and then I think while she was married to her second husband, she obviously got a divorce from her first one. She had a kid with her third husband, or some shit like that. It was a fucking confusing ass mess. It was just, holy fuck, you white trash.
Basically, if her God is real, she's going to hell. Basically.
That's the thing. People like
That's
that.
not how this wager is supposed to work, Kim.
That's the thing, by the way. It's not that she's not the only one who screams the loudest about my family values, and is at the same time the worst example of family values. It's like, I remember a while back.
It's the Respect Women journalists.
Oh, it's like remember when Louis Gohmert was railing against abortion while pressuring his mistress to get an abortion while being married to someone.
Gohmert, the unwashed turd.
Yeah. See, see this. It's ironic because from Bill Hicks' special, straight from where that image on my avatar is.
Relentless? Or no? Oh fuck!
No,
I know. I got confused with Bill Maher. I'm fucking retarded. Sorry.
So these people,
if
you pointed out any of these shit to any of these religious people, they'd say, "My sins have been washed away in the blood of Jesus Christ." Well, like Bill Hicks says, like whenever he'd tell these jokes about God, and then some Christian people would come up to him after the show and go, hey buddy, we're Christians and we don't like what you said about God.
Forgive me.
And then, well, then forgive me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been a while since I watched that, but yeah, I remember it exactly.
I'm sure anyway. God will forgive you for stamping the marriage license, lady. Let it go.
Oof. Yeah. Yeah, like, that's such a stupid argument. It's like God forgave everyone, including the fucking...
Even back when I was still religious, I never saw the point in fucking with anybody. I'm like, look, if God's going to judge these people, he's going to take care of that after you die.
Yeah, that's not your business.
I think it was like a Brian Regan joke where he told the story. He's like, why are you even worried about these gay people and shit? Because you just know, like, when they die, there's going to be, like, just, like, the fucking defensive line from the Philadelphia or the Pittsburgh Steelers just going, like, faggot, you ain't getting in here. You know, they got the line up, they're up in heaven. They're not getting in. What do you care? You know?
Plaxico Burress still manages to shoot his foot in heaven.
Yeah.
Sorry, but by the way, Kim Davis, apparently she got married 4 times to 3 different men. And then she remarried the first or the second husband or whatever the fuck like
we
that.
have gone full white trash.
There is no divorce.
Never been a less important person in the history of national media. God, what a waste of time! Everybody's time she was.
Yep.
So she's a trash thought. Next.
No, because she's not attractive.
She's a trash thought, dude.
Yeah, that's actually a good.
She's really not attractive.
Stolen.
Yeah, I can make a good one every once in a while.
By the way, speaking of Kim Davis, before we switch to the topic, I remember when she was, when she was doing all this stupid stunt, a lot of those conservatives who are now, how they pretend to be based on red pilled, back then they rushed to her defense and portrayed her like a martyr for the faith or something, showing that these
never trust Sean Hannity, people. He's tainted. Yeah. Hannity will never be cool. And Carlson, cool. Carlson's still paying off the bow tie debt, but I'm letting him work it off. Hannity's out.
Carlson was probably never with that shit to begin with. Let's be honest.
Well, Carlson evolves with the times, man. He stays hip. He was hip to the Bushite bullshit, and now he's hip to the Trumpite bullshit. It's same shit, different day for him.
Wasn't the interview with fucking God, not Ben Stein, Howard Stern like 10 years ago though?
That was Bubba the Love Sponge, who's way trashier than Howard Stern.
Okay.
Bubba the Love Sponge is the guy whose wife Hulk Hogan was fucking in the sex tape where he said nigger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
The lore is deep, folks. The lore is deep.
Jesus Christ.
So there's
When Hulk Hogan complained about his daughter dating black men, he was fucking Bubba the Love Sponge's wife on camera. That's the guy whose show that Tucker Carlson said women are bitches on. Yeah, that's the lore.
Wow.
You know how this? It's really maybe when you know those conservatives who say that those liberal elites are all degenerates. Well, maybe they have a point.
Yeah.
In some capacity.
Well, yeah, Glebs. Before we switch, should just show the one the link I've shown. It's the only non-pussy Australian in the government.
Okay, so
yeah.
So someone broke a bottle on his.
No, he broke an egg in the back of his head.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean the fact is that he got exactly what the hell he should have. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I heard what he said was really out of line.
Oh, yeah, it still was really out of line, but still, it's just like fuck's sake, you
I mean, one of the things
prepare to be assaulted back.
Well, one of the things though I did hear though, I think he got choked out, which I think might be going a little far. Like him getting punched, I don't give a shit. Like, he assaulted somebody else, but I think what I read was he got like literally choked unconscious, which might be a little much.
Unconscious, not by the guy not by the guy at least.
No, not by the senator, but like some of his security. I don't know, some other people or some shit.
Dude, I saw the video and he got the sleeper hold.
Yeah, so he got choked unconscious then.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I think might be going a little far. I think that might be a little far.
I just like that he immediately popped the guy in the face with the jab. That was great.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Like I don't give a shit.
Whoever this politician was, he must not have any security because like nobody intervened before he punched this stupid kid in the face like 4 times.
Also, like in that country, they really don't need it that much. It's not like they really have that many people trying to kill them and all.
Neither did Japan until people started getting stabbed with fucking Tontos, dude.
Yeah, but no, I mean, in some countries, the politicians don't really have like a shit ton of security because people aren't trying to kill them. They don't see the need for it.
I don't know about a batshit ton, but just a couple of bodyguards, like just enough for your average mid-range rapper. I mean, come on, somebody to grab the guy once he gets up close to you like that. Just to put a hand out and go like, no, don't touch this dude. He's kind of important. Everybody should have at least one of those. Doesn't even need to be armed necessarily. Just somebody who's going to shove some motherfucker back before he smashes an egg on your head or stabs you or something.
But you got to remember, in New Zealand, this is the kind of country where people can still get up in the other's face and say "fuck you" and whatever else. And if the fight breaks out, the cops don't cart everybody off or anything else like that. I mean, they have a different culture there. Like
that's changing.
That one actually is legit.
It's changing.
Oh yeah, but still, it's they basically they like I said, they don't have that that massive amount of security because they just don't see the need for it.
All right. So while I was here, everyone was talking over each other, but now when I was away, everyone just became silent. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I know the next topic.
You are the one who powers our autism.
I thought you immediately took it off the screen because it said jury, and you're like, oh no, shut it down.
No, actually, I'll talk about the story. So it's Media Matters president wrote blog post about Japs, jury, and trade.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
So what? So what? So he pulled a Jank Yuger before Jank Yuger.
Look at this fucking face.
Of course.
Look at this face. Also, the funny thing was she's talking about jury, even though
it's Andy Worski with a decent haircut.
Oh my God! This
a fresh haircut.
No, hold on. I found the best joke ever. Hold on, I'm sharing. share. If I had $1 for every gender, there is, I'd have $2 and a bunch of counterfeit.
Yeah, kind of looks similar, no?
Yeah, but instead of just having $2, it's like, oh, I have a bunch of fake ones.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's check out this.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, let's see. Media Matters president Angelo Carusone. Okay, is currently leading a boycott campaign against Fox News host Tucker Carlson, a co-founder of the Daily Caller News. Well, this day,
So I'm supposing she's also the terrorist that tried to have a bunch of people kick the door of his house in.
So this Carusone and Media Matters, which openly pined for the destruction of Fox News, have justified all. First of all, why do they even care about Fox News? I mean, I know that Fox News is the biggest mainstream media news channel, but that's kind of like the tallest dwarf. You know, all of the mainstream media is dying, so who cares?
Yeah, Fox News is not the threat to progressive media anymore.
As if it ever was. You know, it has always been lame.
But even the progressives are operating like it's 1996. Nobody can seem to fucking get away from fucking Boomer Town.
Yeah, also they are so behind the times. Well, then again, they're fucking Marxists, so they use the ideology from 1.5 century ago. So of course they are behind the times. But nothing says progressive quite like following an ideology that has been so hopelessly outdated, right?
Yep, everybody's just fucking 2 decades in the past, man. It's just fucking
nothing
sad.
says progressive like supporting radical Islam.
Nothing says progressive like supporting an ideology that had a bigger kill stream than the Holocaust.
Just remember that the one red pill that everybody needs to take is realizing that if something is basically an ideology that wants to completely plan culture, plan the economy, and plan social interaction and control everything, but that's not big government, everybody. That's right wing.
100 times that of the Holocaust. They have killed more people than Hitler. United.
Rookie numbers. You gotta bump
Well, I mean,
that up.
what was Mao? Like Mao alone was what 100 million or some shit like that.
Yeah, he took out at least 30
or
to
60.
50.
I don't know how. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see.
Well, depends on there are no reliable numbers, so it's all of this is just
Yeah,
but,
yeah. He beat the Russians by a lot.
Like
yeah, he
a
was
fuck
bad.
ton.
According to this meme, it's like
Yeah.
60 million.
Yeah, it's Cambodia, Russia, China, Vietnam, Korea. What other states are there where there was a big ass fucking Holocaust?
So like a minimum 45 million people in 4 years. Sorry. Fuck. Jesus Christ.
Yep, the great leap forward, everybody.
10.5 million per year, or whatever, or not 10.5, but like over 10 million per year in 40 years.
By the way,
I mean, honestly though, the Cambodians like take the cake because there's fucking 25% of your goddamn population you murder. Like, that is an accomplishment, a horrible accomplishment.
Yeah, and it was almost all starvation and just ridiculously stupid mismanagement that caused people to die in Mao, because he basically was moving people around forcibly and fucking with farming and shit, which is also largely what caused the Holodomor. Although the Holodomor was largely also deliberate because they didn't let any refugees out of the Ukraine. But the Cambodians were straight up slaughtering people.
Yeah.
So that wasn't starvation, that was murder, all of it.
With Mao, they had like rice quotas, and so they would plant the rice too close to each other, and it would fucking die, and then they would make up the numbers. And then they'd be like, "Oh, we have plenty of food."
Lysenkoism was actually largely the Russian shit, but I think the Chinese also did the same thing. But it was the Lysenkoism was started in Russia.
Yeah,
it didn't help that. Excuse me, Glebs. It didn't help that Pol Pot was a psychopath, like legit psychopath.
Well,
I mean, if you kill 25% of your population, like, ooh.
Go ahead, Glibs.
well, just in China, they did a lot of other stupid shit. Like, for example, they thought that those sparrows were eating too much rice, so they decided to exterminate all the sparrows. And what happened that sparrows actually ate more insects than rice. Yep. So those insects just ate all the rice and all the.
So it caused a plague.
All the cereals. So they had to buy sparrows from USSR for a huge premium. Like they had to pay.
Jesus Christ!
Everybody's heard of Stalin purging rich people, and anybody who was considered like a kulak was killed. But Pol Pot also instituted a purge of all intellectuals. So anybody who was learned or book smart, he killed.
No, anybody who
a lot of people,
glasses.
a lot of times, anybody with glasses, they thought, oh, he's an intellectual, kill him. Yeah, that's how fucked up Pol Pot was.
Like, my vision's fucked up. Oh, okay, I guess we'll just kill you. Like, goddamn.
That's kind of similar to what was in China. Anyways, let's continue this article. But Kerouson has his own track record of inflammatory statements. Kerouson's now defunct blog included degrading references to trannies, Jewry, and Bangladeshis. Records maintained by the Internet Archive Wayback Machine Show. Kerouson posted a lengthy diatribe on November 2005 about a Bangladeshi man who was robbed by a gang of transvestites, as Kerouson described it. Kerouson was offended that the gang was described as attractive. What the?
Jesus, what the fuck is this?
Seriously. Did you notice the word attractive? What the fuck is that doing there? Is the writer a tranny lover too?
Media matters, everybody. Holy shit.
Or perhaps he's trying to justify how these trannies tricked this Bangladesh in the first place. Look, man, we don't need to know whether or not they were attractive. The fucking guy was Bangladesh.
This reads like a poll post. Jesus Christ.
Let's continue. And while we're out, what the hell was he doing with 7,300 worth of stuff? The guy's in Bangladesh. Holy shit. Oh, okay, Bangladesh, as he wrote it. Kerouson also chided police for not advising the public to stay away from tranny bars. Stay away from places where Eddie Murphy and Robert Downey Jr. are visiting. Don't fucking kiss a transvestite. Don't bring a group of transvestites back to your room, etc.
I guess this guy wasn't a fan of cocaine.
I don't know how kissing a transvestite gets you robbed, but I don't know. Never tried it. The Future Media Matters president titled his post "Tranny Paradise." We've been told.
Oh my gosh.
Most our lives living in a tranny paradise.
Tranny paradise.
Someone should make this song a reality. In another post the same month, Kerouson downplayed a male basketball coach's alleged sexual and physical abuse of his female players, adding, "Lighten up, Japs," using what is considered an ethnic slur. Holy shit, this is reading something from
what is considered an ethnic slur. So I guess there's some debate about whether it is or not.
Well, it all depends. Like, for example, Japs is a ethnic slur in the US, but not so much in other countries. And that's all because Japs was used as an ethnic slur during World War II. So I guess, I don't know. I think so, at least. Basketball in Japan, or just another day at Chaminade. What the fuck is Chaminade? In Japan, basketball coaches in some hot water for making the girls on the team run nude, possibly videotaped. Oh, it's no big deal. Just normal basketball coaching. Hitting them as to inflict post-traumatic stress. What the fuck? The coach contends that it was to infuse fighting spirit in them to win a competition. Cool story, bro. Now let's compare basketball in Japan to Chaminade High School. What the fuck is Chaminade?
Labs. Speaking of Jap, this is the thing. There was a British motorcycle company called Jap, which stood for J.A. Prestwich Industries in I'm actually surprised no one has talked about it until now.
Well, being forced to shower nude after gym class, enduring so much verbal abuse that post-traumatic stress disorder never really had a chance to set. I was in a team where a fighting spirit was used to encourage people to win.
All right, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to get off, guys. But it was good talking with you guys.
Thanks for being
on.
And join us next time.
Oh my god, I'm back.
Later, dude.
Well, this isn't very convincing. You can't be racist to the Japanese. They have Asian privilege.
The team was also encouraged the stealing of people's cases, ideas, drinking, and doing drugs. Well, maybe doing sports is not as boring as I thought.
This guy's pretty tight-assed for a radical bigot.
This encouragement was solidified when the team bestowed its highest honor upon this fat, bald, and insolent asshole, despite the fact that others were very viable candidates for a coveted speech and debate award.
I bet he's an alcoholic, though. He fucking swears like one.
Point is, lighten up, Japs. I had to shell out $4,000 a year for the treatment that you are getting for free. Consider yourselves just fucking hell.
Jesus Christ. Again, this guy talks like he was raised by Pole.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not as out there with the
Who knows?
gross out insults.
Maybe that's what happened.
But just like that angry, corrosive attitude.
Yeah. Oh, let's see what else is there. In another November 2005 blog post, Carosone praised former Democratic West Virginia Senator Robert Byrd. Oh, everybody knows about the Byrd.
Byrd is the word.
Man, everybody's connected to this guy. You can play like 6 Degrees of Robert Byrd, like Kevin Bacon. You know, like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
You go 6 films, and you always get back to Kevin Bacon. You go 6 politicians, you get back to Byrd.
Yeah. Well, Hillary Clinton praised him as her mentor and very kind soul who helped her start her career. Oh,
but is a Grandmaster, is that as good as a Cyclops or whatever the fuck? Like, I don't know the fucking ranks anymore.
Yeah, well, the ranks are like as autistic as they go. It's like,
look, to fully understand the clans, the ranking system, you almost need to be an expert at D&D.
So yeah, what is he, Super Saiyan 2 or is he Ultra Instinct clan? I don't get it.
Yeah. Former Grandmaster of Quacklas Clan is one of his favorite public figures. In his lunacy we trust. Carosone wrote of Byrd. Okay. Carosone
How the fuck did this guy end up running a lefty fucking organization?
Carosone made anti-Semitic comments on his blog as well. He wrote on one October 2005 post that despite his Jewry, you know he's adorable, referring to his boyfriend.
What? What?
Oof, my boy. Oof.
Wait, so he's gay too? Wow.
Well, I have a
mega faggot.
Yeah.
There we go.
This person confuses me.
Yeah. So in another post, he claimed that his boyfriend only learned conservative as a result of his possession of several bags of Jewish gold. Oh, lean conservative. So I'll have a consequence of his possession of several bags of Jewish gold. Well, he's not anti-Semitic because he was getting sodomized by a Jew. That will be the excuse. Also, there's just a teenage.
Well, Milo's supposed to be racist despite getting dicked by a black guy every night.
Well, they probably do race play anyways. I mean, if Milo is as degenerate in private as he's in public, they probably do. Carosone did not return any inquiry from the DCNF asking whether he sees any contradiction between his boycott campaign and his own past comments. Gee, I wonder why. Carosone previously dismissed concerns about his past anti-Semitic comments on the grounds that his longtime partner is Jewish. I fucking called it! Prominent conservatives have rallied behind Carson. Ben Shapiro, even Ben is Shapiro, the right media matters. Fuck off, Ben. You're not much better than they are. Just fucking conservative. Just fuck Bennis Shapiro. Seriously. he's like a conservative Bill Maher. Is a political smear factory designed to perform precisely that function against anyone to the right of Hillary Clinton. Now, speaking of political smear factory, you know, he's a Ben Shapiro listener and believer when when this new documentary, quote unquote, about Michael Jackson was released, and he was just, oh yeah, Michael Jackson, he totally diddled kids because fags don't care about your feelings. There was actually there was an interesting.
Yes, says the man who looks like he was the 7th generation of incest. Okay.
Let me find this meme real quickly.
He's an ugly man. I'm sorry. He looks like the definition of a weasel. He looks like a weasel wearing a shirt and a shitty haircut.
Well, the funny thing is that his sister is hot, but there's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I guess his sister won the genetic lottery.
Yeah.
Okay, this is epic.
I still care about your feelings. Goyim.
No, if you want to,
you gotta do it a lot faster than that.
Yeah, you gotta go way faster if you want to do a Ben Shapiro.
And there's this.
I still care about your feelings.
And he's still a quarter my fucking speed.
So let me read this.
Can't expect anything from the inferior race. I'm sorry.
By labeling a fair bit of common sense behavior racist, the left ensures we can never overcome racism without abandoning common sense. Also, Ben Shapiro. Ilhan Omar is an anti-Semite. Rashida Tlaib is an anti-Semite. AOC is fine with that, just as she's fine with Jeremy Corbyn's anti-Semitism. Intersectional leftists are happy to let all three of the off the hook. This isn't complex. Also,
by the way, talking about all the anti-Semites and all the shit, people have been giving shit to fucking Chelsea Clinton because apparently she's responsible partly for the shooting in New Zealand.
Oh yeah, did you see the fucking Teen Vogue editor who went after her? And then I wrote, Teen Vogue supports
and
violence
then
against
what's
women.
the name?
I wonder if I got blocked for that.
Rational disconnects, like, but it's a dog whistle. You know who you're talking about? You're fucking talking about? It's fucking Chelsea Clinton. There's no dog whistle. And by the way, only dogs are supposed to hear those fucking dog whistle. Just saying.
Oh, speaking of
well, she is a bitch after all, so like her mother.
Anyways, again, no, your reaction is supposed to be perhaps using overbroad and nasty labels to describe everyone with whom I disagree is bound to alienate large groups of people and radicalize smaller ones. Obama is an anti-Semite and a liar. If this administration has helped Israel, why does all Israel despise it? Facts don't care about your feelings.
What's pretty hilarious is a lot of people say with some not insignificant amount of evidence that there's Jewish lobby that has largely been behind the Democratic Party for a long ass time. The thing is, the people who are rapidly taking over the Democratic Party really fucking hate Israel.
Yeah.
So I just can only imagine where all that Jew money's going in 2020, dude. It's going to be fucking chaos.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. Okay, our nation can maintain a culture of free speech if we continue to reward those who seek. Yeah, fuck Ben Shapiro. And when you reward Media Matters search and destroy fishing expedition, who cares what Ben Shapiro thinks? He's a cuck. Oh, this SPLC. I like how LA Times just those organizations. Its leadership is extremely white. So. So this Media Matters. Yeah, that's the same story.
Oh no, I'm not blocked by the Teen Vogue editor who said that pregnant women should die. Amazing.
What a miracle.
Yeah, well, not everyone is as thorough as our buddy Steve Shives. He would never one off the hook. By the way, before we go to the next topic, I have a appropriate video. Just let me play it, and you'll try to guess what kind of topic it is.
Yeah, I more and more enjoy fucking children. They are really polite and so innocent.
Comma. A comma would help there.
No, it's not a comma. It's actually he's talking about children from the there is a city in Austria called fucking. So he went there and talked about things he saw there. By the way, it's like it's like an actual place, and they had to install special vandal-proof signs because tourists kept doing those. As
Oh yeah, isn't it fucking in Austria?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I remember that from my 2 trips there.
Yeah, the fucking people of fucking Austria. This is the
With
fucking
their
church.
fucking children and their fucking roads, mate.
Yeah, so
their fucking stores and their fucking garment.
You can go and ride a fucking horse.
Yeah. A great big fucking horse.
Okay, can you guess what the story is about? Since I used this as a a segue into it.
I don't know. I'm gonna go get drunk. Be back in a sec.
All right. Well, remember when James Gunn was fired, quote unquote, by Disney for his his long history of really dubious statements. Basically, he was joking about diddling kids all the time, and it was it Cernovich who dug up all of this, and then leftists tried to defend him. Oh, it's just a joke. It's okay when we do it. Then turns out that he was buddies with a sex offender who got busted for either CP or actually diddling kids. Then turns out,
I think it was CP.
I think Also, after that, he was. Turns out that he went to was it some costume party or was it Halloween? He was dressed as a. Basically, it was this costume party was pedophile themed, something like that. Like two words, 3 words: pattern of behavior.
Yep.
I'm not saying that he diddled kids, but there are probably some. Well, if I had to guess, probably he has some CP on his computer. Probably he didn't diddle kids, but who knows? Also, just because someone is a good director, and apparently he is. I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy, but people who saw it said it's a good film.
It's pretty good. It's E.
By the way, let's not forget that Roman Polanski is also a good director, and he was convicted of diddling at least one kid. And
Roman Polanski anally raped a 12-year-old, dude.
Yeah, Polanski's a piece of shit.
And he wasn't the only victim.
Alright.
But by the way, speaking of Polanski, Hollywood took its sweet time to condemn him, like the decade when he was hiding from the justice in Europe. Hollywood actually didn't condemn him, and actually they gave
or his incredibly disgusting Euro trip, as we'll call it.
Yeah.
They actually kept praising him the entire time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you guys remember all the jokes Seth MacFarlane made about fucking what do you call it, Harvey Weinstein years before the Me Too thing came out?
Yeah.
Where he basically just outright called the guy a rapist, like on stage.
Yeah, it's like everyone who won a prize, you no longer have to pretend to like Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Considering I don't trust anyone in Hollywood.
Yeah.
For all we know,
Nor
Weinstein was
should you.
completely innocent because they're all fucking liars.
Well, no, it's actually there's a voice recording of him being a degenerate, and
It's more like they're all rapists and kid fuckers. More like.
Yeah, there was actually freaking Courtney Love at one point. She was being interviewed at like whatever movie or reward ceremony
Did
or
you
whatever.
finally admit to fucking killing Cobain?
Had any advice for for anyone? She says, "Yeah, if you ever get invited to a party at Harvey Weinstein house, don't go."
By the way,
yeah, she did say that.
Speaking of, let's.
Yeah, why doesn't she admit to killing Cobain, the fucking piece of shit?
I'll just leave this here.
Yeah.
It's funny how whenever some high-profile degenerate gets ousted, you can draw a straight line to the Clintons.
Yeah.
What a coincidence, right? Yeah, don't order cheese pizza.
Oof.
Oh yeah, By the way, speaking of James Gunn, I showed this video already. It's not about James Gunn, but it's about another person who also made those jokes which are totally nothing to do with something he actually did. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Let me find it real quickly. So it's
Real talk, that picture between Harvey Weinstein and Hillary Clinton is a cursed image if I've ever seen one.
Oh, this one?
Yes.
Ugh.
Well, Weinstein, look at the fucking face. I mean,
well, if there's nothing sexual, there is no fucking reason to put your hands like that on the chest of a man.
I mean,
or of anyone, as a matter of fact.
Dude, let's be honest here. Both are pretty fucking evil.
Yeah, but Weinstein, he actually looks the part. Pretty much, he's like a completely harmonious personality. His personality and his appearance are just perfect reflection of each other. So at least there's that.
Okay. Before we start, where would you put Hillary Clinton and Harvey Weinstein on the evil scale? I would personally put Hillary on the chaotic evil, and Harvey Weinstein on the neutral evil.
Well,
Hillary's lawful evil. What are you talking about?
Yeah, she didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not illegal if you make the law.
Yeah.
No, not lawful. Neutral.
If you pay the law.
Well, I mean, I don't think that Hillary is chaotic. She's really systematic in her evilness.
Chaotic evil's more like serial killers and shit. You know what I mean? Schizophrenics, paranoid delusions, memesters who shoot up mosques, that kind of thing.
Or maybe Joker. Joker is chaotic evil. He revels in chaos.
Joker would actually be chaotic neutral.
Is he neutral? He actually wants to cause destruction, so it's pretty evil.
Well, but keep in mind that half the people he fucked with were criminals. He fucked with everybody equally. He's chaotic neutral.
Yeah, just because you commit evil acts against evil people doesn't make those acts not evil. If you break someone's leg, just because this person is evil doesn't mean that breaking legs is suddenly okay. Especially if you do it not as a revenge or to stop them from being evil, but just because you are evil as well.
Under that definition, Batman is chaotic evil. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he's actually he's chaotic good maybe.
Yeah, I mean he is.
Exactly.
But whatever.
All right, let's get back on topic.
Yeah, well, since this video is made by Miserable Simon, and it's about someone called MadFad0890. If you know who that is, you know where this is going. Basically, it's a really, really stupid, cringy, and
gay, fake, and gay.
Oh no!
Oh hell no!
So not only was he like a complete total weeb degenerate, but he also he was a CP aficionado. He's the link to the.
What, Dan Olson?
What?
You said CP aficionado. I mean, okay, he's black.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Dan
I remember this shit.
Yeah.
Matt.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was looking at how to put the needle on my MTech flux. Never mind.
So this is.
I remember this shit from Facebook. Oh God.
So
he is just no.
Yeah, so this guy was making jokes about diddling kids all the time, and what do you know? He actually had CP on his computer, and those jokes were the ones that caused the FBI to pay him a visit. So basically, if you're doing something illegal, maybe it's a good idea not to tell anyone about this. But
nah.
Not that I'm saying that.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. What's the worst that could happen?
And just anybody who has a Discord, just delete your not safe for work channel. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Speaking of, there's the meme about what could possibly go wrong.
Everything.
Bubsy. Well, everything went wrong with Bubsy 3D. It was like one of those. It's, you can call it a game,
It's like if a game was made with Windows Movie Maker.
That's giving too much credit to Bubsy 3D.
Actually, you can make a game with Movie Maker. It's called what was the genre where it's
point and click.
No, not point and click. Where this full FMV. Those.
Oh yeah, that would work too.
Some of them actually were good. Like for example, what was the name of the first one, the most famous one?
Sewer Shark or Street? What is it called?
Phantasmagoria?
No.
That one was terrible. Sewer
one.
Shark was good.
Dragon's Lair. That's the one.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that would basically be a Movie Maker game. You're right.
It was just really,
you don't
really
mean full motion video. You mean Movie Maker.
Yeah,
the
it is an FMV game.
One at a time, please.
I thought Dragon's Lair was like all animated though.
It is, but it's basically an FMV because the only thing you do is select routes.
Oh, I get your point. Yeah, that is true. In principle, it's the same.
Yeah, it's fucking ingenious.
The problem is Dragon's Lair. The window to click on the right path was incredibly short.
Well, yeah, because it was an arcade game. That was the whole point.
Well, at least it wasn't that short. There were games with.
You could still beat it, yeah, but you had to do everything.
You had to memorize that fucking weird keyboard.
Yeah, and after you threw in $20, then congrats.
Yeah, the big problem was also that it was not intuitive.
Well, yeah, it's a fucking it's an arcade
and you had
game.
non-intuitive, crazy short, and that's it.
Yeah, but at least it was animated by Don Bluth, like a legend.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to sit there for hours and see a Don Bluth cartoon, then so be it. That's great. That's a great time. But
besides, when it was made, it was like 80s, and it was using technology.
It was basically like paying for a full movie if you spent $20 on the machine. You got your money's worth there.
It's also it was like a novelty factor because let's not forget that it was unlike anything else in the arcades. Other arcade titles had really really primitive graphics, but this was like actual high quality animation, and it was really well drawn, and the presentation was, even when you lose, the death animations were unique and interesting. So it wasn't even that bad to lose just to see those great ways.
Yeah, it's basically a spectacle game, except it's still better animated than most AAA titles. Let's face it.
Yeah, their faces are tired.
All right, so apparently there is. In the Thames in Britain, the river is so polluted with drugs, the eels are getting high.
Yeah.
They're getting high on cocaine, so I think some people must have dumped a bunch of coke in it.
No, just probably.
Boy, mate, what you doing with all that cocaine? You got a license?
No, it's not cocaine. What it is that so many people are doing cocaine that the metabolites are, coming out in the urine.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And
Jesus Christ.
Also, not everything is being, not everything is being broken down by the kidney. So some of it comes out as unprocessed coke.
Well, the kidneys, I don't think they break down anything. They just pull out the water from the blood and shit. It's the liver that breaks down shit.
By the way,
I was gonna go swimming in a river, but then I got high.
But by the way, some drugs are excreted via kidneys without any processing. Like for example, muscimol, the active ingredient of the the flag, Eric.
The way the London song goes, though, is I was gonna go to the pub, but then I got stabbed.
Then I got stabbed.
Car of peace. Driving in a car of peace. Anyways, what I wanted to show is that this part of the video.
Handled his case.
And then I died, and then I died, and then I died.
Yeah. La, da, 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 da. Yeah, sorry, it's too catchy. Stop it. You're gonna ruin the whole stream, Nick.
Yeah.
2012.
I'm sorry, I can actually carry a tune. No, wait, no, I'm not. Fuck you.
At address redacted Franklin River Drive, apartment 3.
No, I mean the song's too catchy.
48034 and address redacted Kilburny Avenue, Lathrop Village, Michigan 48076.
Kilburny Avenue. Oh no.
Receipt and possession of child pornography. I am submitting this affidavit in support of a complaint and arrest warrant authorizing the arrest of Thaddeus Lewis McMichael for violations of Title 18, U.S. Code Section 2252AA2 and 2252AA5B, the receipt and possession of child pornography. On June 24, 2011, the Detroit, Michigan division of the FBI was contacted by the Louisville, Kentucky division of the FBI concerning an individual on the social networking website www.facebook.com, who was actively discussing child pornography and methods for downloading child pornography from the internet. The Facebook user ID provided was MadThad08. Comments posted by the user ID MadThad08 included statements regarding methods to obtain child pornography on the internet, methods of encrypting child pornography stored on a computer, and having recently masturbated while viewing child pornography. Thaddeus Lewis McMichael was interviewed during the execution of the search warrant in Southfield. During the interview, McMichael was shown a printout of the Facebook profile page for user ID MadThad08 and confirmed the account and profile belonged to him. McMichael was then shown a series of printed screenshots containing statements he posted on his Facebook page and was asked to explain the post. The following are the statements from the printed screenshots accompanied with McMichael's responses. On October 3rd, 2011, in response to the statement, "Stop downloading all that CP, Thad, you're just asking for it," being posted by another user on McMichael's Facebook page, McMichael wrote, "Well, tell 7-year-old girls to stop sucking dick so sexy."
Ooh. Holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah, this guy was absolutely disgusting.
It's not even like the guy was subtle or even coded.
No, he was a disgusting creepazoid. I remember this shit.
There's a reason why
I was just waiting for your reaction.
Yeah.
Hold on a sec. Okay, no, I saw something like this recently, but it was like it disappeared out of the group.
It's too common, dude. It's turning into the fucking UK over here. What the hell?
Dude, there's a reason why his nickname is Mad Cat. Because of shit like this. Pikachu!
That is way
Come here,
beyond
little girl.
gun level joke. That is just not funny. It's
You're right. It's hilarious. It's hilarious, especially when we find them and kill them.
Oh, want to see something even worse?
Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
I
think little Timmy in the back there wants some. Look at that little chubby.
Well, we're officially on our lives, ladies and gentlemen.
And the teacher is fucking taking a picture.
I wonder how Thaddeus is doing in jail. They probably didn't let him have his waifu pillow.
He is the waifu pillow for both. For Bubba.
Usually they don't make prison bitches out of guys who touch girls.
I know they usually kill them. That's the joke.
Yeah.
They fucking gutted him and turned him into a literal pillow so they could just keep fucking him after he's dead.
Well, he didn't diddle kids. He just had child porn, so it's better, I guess.
They don't care.
Yeah, I doubt they're going to make a distinction.
You know, the more I saw that image, the worse it got.
Yup.
The reason I showed it's the same shit over and over again. So much of this, and every time he has said that, oh, it was a joke. I was kidding. It's just wanted to show that it's the same excuse as James Gunn. You know, when someone just spends years saying, "Oh yeah, ha ha ha," I would diddle kids, ha ha ha, but not really. But when Quink actually, yeah.
But when he does it for like 100 tweets in a row, that's a little different. Like, I don't agree with Ian on this because he went way too fucking far. Like, it was literally every single fucking tweet for like an entire year was like pedophile shit.
Yeah.
Like, even fucking iDubbbz at his edgiest didn't pull this shit. Stamper doesn't pull this shit.
He did like maybe two in a row. He basically did like 2 in a row, and that's it.
No,
like
he did like 10 in a row.
No, I mean, fucking iDubbbz.
Oh yeah, iDubbbz would like, but he wouldn't do like pedophile shit constantly. He would make fun of everyone. Gunn like quintupled down on the pedophile shit. That's the problem. Now,
Yeah,
Cernovich was an asshole to dig this
really
up and go
funny.
after him.
Yeah, dude. The only thing that's funny that happens to kids is like when they fall on their face and start crying. That's hilarious.
That is hilarious.
Yes, that is.
And that's about as far as I'm willing to go, which is about anything related to child comedy. Like, I'll watch fail videos of kids crashing their, like, fucking, what do you call them? Guys, remember those fucking, like, electrical cars that they used to give kids in the 90s?
Oh, the Power Wheels? Yeah, they still have them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Toys R
whenever
Us
you
was
see a
fucking
kid, like,
stuffed with
drive
the-
one of those down a hill, that's awesome.
Oh, well,
that's about it.
Well, wait a minute. With child comedy, there is the running gag of the child getting hurt constantly in Freddy Got Fingered. That shit was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what he's talking about.
Especially with the payoff at the end when he runs in a propeller.
Oh, yeah.
There's blood everywhere, and then the child says, "I'm okay, Daddy."
Oh,
yeah, because he pushed another kid into it.
Nick.
Freddy Got Fingered is just one great big anti-joke. If you like anti-jokes, that movie's actually kind of funny. But other than that, not really.
I mean, like me personally,
Daddy, would you like some sausages?
I separate out the humor about and the actual topic. Like, believe me, if I ever come across somebody I find out is a pedophile, I tend to forget the rules of social interaction regarding when you are allowed and not allowed to become violent. But I find pedophile jokes hilarious.
That's the default for white people. It's okay.
I mean, like with me, I find pedophile jokes hilarious because they are jokes. Because they are not actual fucking kids and whatever. And believe me, if it was not for gallows humor and dark humor and my ability to find it funny, I would have probably already been locked up for very violent reactions at times.
I think the only guy I've ever heard tell jokes that are like that kind of dark or twisted that's actually funny is, you guys know who Anthony Jeselnik is?
No.
No.
Yeah,
He's he tells nothing but fucked up Annie jokes. Like, that's his entire stand-up shtick. You should look up like Anthony Jeselnik. I think it's called Great White or something like that.
He used to be on Comedy Central back in the day.
Yeah, he had a show, but the
I
show was his show wasn't very good because it was Comedy Central produced, and thus it's woke. But if you just watch any of his comedy specials on YouTube, Anthony Jeselnik. Not very. I think his show was canceled a few years ago. But Anthony Jeselnik's stand-up comedy specials, he has 2 that I'm aware of that were on Comedy Central. They should be on YouTube. They're fucking hilarious. He just tells like fucked up anti-jokes. That's all he tells.
Yeah. I mean, I don't make a habit of going around telling those kind of jokes all the time, but I find them hilarious.
Here's an Anthony Jeselnik joke. It's a nice quick one. He says, "You know nothing about pain until you've seen your own child, your own baby, drowned in a bathtub. And you definitely don't know anything about washing a baby." He tells jokes like that, and he says, like, "I didn't really appreciate Romeo and Juliet," or I forget, I probably fucked this one up, but he told some joke about he didn't appreciate Romeo and Juliet until his girlfriend killed himself. And he says, "I know not everybody's going to get that joke, but you should probably read more."
Jesus.
Yeah, he tells jokes like that. He's like Stephen Wright, like just shtick jokes, but they're really dark. He's pretty funny.
Yeah. Anyways, so back to the story. So Disney rehires. I think that they didn't actually fire him. They fired him like formally, but you know they probably told him that they will rehire him anyways. So it wasn't even firing. So
it's probably for like bookkeeping shit too. It's probably real fucking retarded.
Basically, what they did is just wait while the people just you know how people are nowadays. They don't have an attention span at all.
It's okay, James. We'll get you another shipment of kids after this is all over.
God damn it, Nick! And that's not the most the terrible imitation of my voice. I don't know what it is. Dying of fire.
Shut up, you fake Mexican!
Oh, go fuck you, fucking Italian! Go fuck girlfriend, my friend. Oh god, that was terrible.
The fact that it's Disney, so it's supposed to be like family friendly and children friendly, and they hired a director who is children friendly in a very different way. I don't know. Not the best optics. Just saying.
Yeah, and then there was also fucking the guy from Troma defending him. It's like, just shut up.
That guy, of course, he was defending him because.
You mean Uncle Lloyd?
Yes.
Lloyd Kaufman.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you don't want to die on this hill.
Well, given what.
I mean, you're almost dead already, but.
I mean, at least if you worked for some studio that made movies kind of like trauma films, yeah, those jokes would be like par for the course. But for Disney, it's kind of against their image,
Yeah, but those weren't really jokes, and even trauma films aren't like literal child jokes for 90 minutes.
I think part of what contributed to this is that more than one member of the cast vowed to not do Guardians of the Galaxy 3 if they didn't rehire him. Like Dave Bautista straight up said in no uncertain terms, "I will not come back and reprise Drax."
The least relevant member. Oh no.
Drax is my favorite character. I think Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm not saying you're not allowed to like him. I'm saying that no one gives a shit.
Well, he's not important to the narrative, but he's the guy I like the most.
Yeah.
I like fucking the original Terrence Howard, right? As Rhodey. But I didn't mind that they fucking replaced him with Don Cheadle, but it's like, yeah, he's not coming back.
Yeah, but didn't Terrence Howard get in trouble about drugs or something? I forget what happened.
No, it was purely about he wanted to be paid more.
Yeah, that was it. And they didn't want it, which was weird because they pay everyone else more. But all right, they also sprung for John fucking Cheadle, so that doesn't make any sense.
John Cheadle doesn't exactly come cheap.
Exactly. So Terrence either wanted Big Papa drug money, or I don't know what the fuck he was on about.
Maybe he was an asshole. Who knows?
That's probably it.
So let's see. In a tweet, he thanked Disney and his supporters and said he's excited to continue making films that investigate the ties of love that bind us all. After your tweets about diddling kids, don't say anything about ties of love, because that sounds like some euphemism for underage bondage fetish or something. Ties of love. He was fired last July over the tweets that Disney called indefensible. So they were indefensible then, but now they are defensible suddenly or something. They really think that people are retarded. Well, maybe they are not wrong here, but still. Stars from the first two films in the franchise had openly supported Gunn after his dismissal. Blah, blah, blah. Guardians of the Galaxy series. That's the reason he was rehired. Because it was profitable. And because if you change the director, it might not be good enough for as a sequel. Because
look at Iron Man 3, the film that made me hate the MCU for all time, because that film is trash.
Imagine caring about cape shit. Imagine giving a shit about cape shit.
I know. That's why I stopped with that film, and that's why I don't care that Captain Marvel's burning the whole thing down.
Speaking of cape shit, let's actually, after maybe finishing this article, if there's anything to finish.
What, show your video?
No, I wanted to talk about the shit show that's, the Captain Marvel shit show, because apparently, some faggot tried to do a gay op to frame, Captain Marvel supporters as leaving bot. Basically, remember when the narrative was that bots are being used to leave negative reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yep.
Then someone discovered dozens of reviews that were word for word identical.
Oh yeah, that's just hilarious.
Reviews. And then, someone unfortunate actually did some digging. So one of them actually used his own a real account to use. They traced him back to his YouTube channel, and it shows that he liked a video by comic actress Pro Secrets criticizing Captain Marvel.
So it was a gay
cheat money. Oh, that's funny.
So yeah, this is like, and it's such a stupid gay op that he used his own profile, didn't create a new fake profile, and didn't private his liked video. You can hide your liked and watched videos on YouTube, or not use your real name for your YouTube profile.
Pardon me, Glaz, but mind if I do a little PSA, right? It's gonna be quick.
Go ahead.
Hollywood, for the love of all that is holy, stop making cape shit movies. God damn it! Stop making superhero movies.
Don't tell them to do that. Tell people to stop paying for tickets to see them.
Damn right.
But speaking of tickets, well, it's another topic. But yeah, the reason they do it, not because they want to do it, but because it's profitable. It's like when people complained about all the Transformers movies that were shit. Well, it doesn't matter that they're shit. They sold well. They raked in like billions of dollars.
I knew somebody who once I told them like how fucking much I hated the very character of Captain Marvel. I hated the people who made this movie, and I had zero interest in seeing it. And she told me that it was like the greatest thing she ever saw, and I'm just like, well, you think Jurassic World is the best movie of all time, so I don't really, I don't talk to you for your opinion on movies like at all.
You know what's fucking funny? The original Black Captain Marvel, I actually finally ran into it. It's a good ass, just regular ass story. Like, she's a fucking policewoman initially, and it's like, oh, this is an actual character. But no, we need the Great White fucking Hope.
Well, in the
nobody
80s
has ever liked.
Yeah, in the 80s and early 90s, the woke comics weren't that bad.
No. But like read Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel, it's actually good. Like she led the Avengers for a while, and then she stepped down because she wanted to finish her job as a cop because that was important to her and her family. Was like she was an actual character that you could give a shit about.
I actually had one of
Carol
the
Danvers.
Do you remember the superhero movie that Shaquille O'Neal was in, Steel, which is based on
Henry Irons.
Yeah, it was based on one of the after the death of Superman. Characters.
Steel was a good
I had
character.
the issues of one of those. Yeah, I liked him because he beat the shit out of people with sledgehammers.
Ruined him.
Yeah,
the movie was a trash heap. I mean, come on, that movie it was so
no. We're saying Steel was a trash heap, but the character in the comic was great.
Cool. Yeah, I had one of the comics. I didn't own a lot of comics back in the day. But
he also showed up in the Superman animated series. That was cool too.
Yeah, they made recently. DC made an animated movie that's has all the after the death of Superman, all the extra Superman guys who come around. Yeah. Like the one that's like a kid with sunglasses, and the one that's like a cyborg, and then the black guy in the fucking sledgehammer steel.
Yep, Henry Irons.
Well, let's be honest here for a second. I think Shaquille O'Neal's movie career has been validated thanks in fact to that Shaq Fu movie.
What? There's a Shaq Fu movie?
Don't you mean the game? Shaq Fu is a game.
Not a movie.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what the fuck?
Are you talking about Shazam?
Yeah, it was the Shazam was really weird.
Oh God, that's right.
Oh
I
yeah,
completely memory hold that.
Or is
shit.
it Kazam with a K?
Shazam is the upcoming movie about the different Captain Marvel.
The original Captain Marvel, yes, the one that was actually more popular than Superman before DC bought Fawcett Comics.
Yeah, this one Shazam, I think I'm gonna go see it. That looks fun.
It's good.
It's literally just like, oh yeah, imagine if the big superhero was in fact a kid, and is all
that's why fucking Fawcett Comics raked in the money until DC bought them, and he was still fucking popular after that.
Yeah.
Anyways, the reason I brought it up, well, you know how there are a lot of quote unquote conspiracy theories going around that. So apparently, Captain Marvel was really a big success on the opening night, and yet quite a few reports of a lot of seats that were bought out, but nobody showed up at the screening.
Oh yeah, I actually shared an article about that at one not long ago.
It's like
you don't say, Goy.
Because, if it was like from a couple theaters, it would be suspicious, but that's about that. But since it there are reports about that from multiple, from quite a few theaters all over the world, even. That's if it was like
your movie was probably poop.
Well, if it was in one city, you could you could come up with someone else.
Gamergoys.
Doing that.
Gamergoys.
In the world, it has to be centralized, and it has to be like it has to come from the probably the company itself.
Gamergate put in my my step muffin my fuck's sake. My stairs muffle on the wrong step. Finally, got it.
Don't listen to the critics, Goyum. They're incels. All of them. All the detractors are incels. Don't listen to us. Watch our movie. It's great.
But I'm the mother of 3 children, and I thought it was shit. Shut up, Femcel.
Femcel? Is that a thing now?
Apparently. Yeah.
A friend of mine actually came up with the meaning, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I found the article, but this page has some bullshit that's loaded. Oh, the fucking videos. No, fuck you, video. I hate when web pages do this shit and just.
Welcome to Web 2.0, Glebs. Welcome to hell.
And I need to install some, or maybe come up with my own extension that blocks all those videos on certain sites. Just the worst offender is sadly one angry gamer. Now open several tabs.
Just think.
It will just fucking slow your computer to a crawl, even if it's like a.
Well, isn't it a fucking WordPress site? That's probably why.
Let's see. On the client side, it doesn't.
WordPress is awful.
WordPress for my website.
Wait, stop. When it arrives at your, on your side, it's just HTML. It doesn't matter what it runs on. But the problem is that he added several stupid fucking auto-playing videos on each page, and who knows how many other JavaScript bullshit thingies. Well, those JavaScript thingies weren't even that resource intensive. Those just scrolling ads for lewd merchandise with animated titties. But now when there's videos auto-playing on every page, why? Just why? And also those when you zoom in, like for example I do when presenting to everyone, so it's easy to read the text. Well, those videos just become so big that they cover up parts of the page, and
they probably also slow your rig down, right?
Yeah, if you open several tabs at once, it's. Anyway, so this article is from Bounding into Comics. So I forgot to post links to the articles we discuss in the chat. I always need to remind myself to do this. Well, better late than never. So there's the link. And there's this new reports of empty theaters as Captain Marvel add to movies controversy. So those reports were coming, like the new reports, because there were other earlier reports. So this is like an ongoing. Also, how. Well, the biggest like indicator of the quality of the movie is the amount of the drop-offs between the first opening night and the next weekend.
Which people predicted that this movie would fucking tank after opening weekend, if at all.
Yeah, the drop was just really significant.
Yeah, like 70%.
Yeah, about that, I think. Something like
that. That's the funny thing is the friend I had who... The friend I had who really loved this movie sent me some article and said, like, oh, it had one of the biggest opening weekends of all time, like top 20 all time. And I'm like, yeah, like Transformers made $1.3 billion. I don't fucking care. But people watch really shitty movies.
Well, that's the thing. If those reports are actually, because so many of them, I don't think that's all of them are fake or it's a coincidence. Something is probably happening. So
I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, they sold all these fucking tickets, and nobody's coming to see it. Who bought these fucking tickets?
I don't know.
By the way, also let's not forget that it's the thing is that even before the movie came out, you knew that Disney knew that this movie was kind of poopy. You know how?
Oh yeah.
Judging by the marketing, there's this guy on YouTube, David let me try to find his channel. It's a good channel, and he made a video about this. He said that before the movie came out, I don't know if the movie is bad, but I think that Disney thinks the movie is bad because of how they market it.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Solo.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I actually watched Captain Marvel. I mean, I was like, fuck it, I found it on a pirate streaming site. And basically we got Ghostbusters. It was like the movie itself was. I mean, it was actually a halfway decent way to spend 2 hours. But I mean,
I'd
it was
rather
shit
jerk off.
storytelling. Continuity was fucked. I mean, pretty much the movie was definitely not worth the ticket price. And I don't know. I might pick it up. I might pick up the DVD or the Blu-ray when it hits the discount bin later on.
Yeah, that might be actually interesting.
Anyways, the reason I bring him up is that he made this video called "Captain Marvel Will Suck, Think Like a Marketer," and actually it makes really good points. I'll link this here in the chat, and if you want to look at this after the stream, I'll here in the internal chat as well. So he's a good channel, so give him a watch.
I'll give it a watch. Yeah, sure, why not? Thank you.
And the thing is that if Disney knew that this movie is a stinker, they at least if you bolster the opening night, you may trick people into watching it.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did this weird fucking thing where like if you went to like Aeropostale or whatever and you bought like $25 worth of merchandise, you got 2 free tickets to Captain Marvel. I think that may be how they inflated those ticket sales.
Wait, what?
Yes, World Class Bullshitters actually did a video on that exact thing, like about midweek.
Yeah, well, it's actually not a very rare tactic to provide tickets to a movie with purchases of something else. Like
in sporting events, they also call this papering the house. Like you ever see WWE? They almost never sell out. Yeah, that's
Nobody
the funny
fucking
thing.
Showed up to this.
Yeah, like whenever you watch WWE, like a certain number of the people in the venue didn't pay to get in. Probably nobody sitting in the first several rows, but
showed up because it's wrestling.
So so it sounds like that there were some people. I saw that somebody did like some GoFundMe's where people just drop money so that they're like, oh, let these little like school kids or something go see the movie. Who knows if they actually passed on? Yeah, or who knows if they even passed the tickets off? It could have been just a scam, somebody trying to boost the numbers of the movie because they're a retard progressive. Who knows?
Well, I mean, if that was, if you already got the money for the ticket and bought the tickets, might as well give those tickets to the children instead of empty seats. Because
the point is, somebody was trying to paper the house so that the building looks full. You know what I mean? So that the venue looks full, but it wasn't. But I mean. But nobody really cares so long as somebody's buying these fucking tickets. Now it's fucking bullshit, and that the actual people are not actually buying these tickets, but some fucker is buying a lot of these tickets.
Well, the thing is that if the company itself is buying the tickets, well, they don't get a profit. They actually
it could be
losing.
It could be, but I bet you'd be criminal. Criminal fraud if Disney employees are buying the tickets.
If the studio is doing
Disney
that,
and fraud go hand in hand, my boy.
The price of the tickets in as advertising, so that way they don't have to admit to it. But what they draw in from the box office, they're counting as the profit they make. So basically, it's like they recover like 80% of what they spend on tickets anyway.
No, not 80. Like first of all, taxes, and also movie theaters get a cut of their own. So
it's like 1% because of Disney, but yeah, or actually it's closer to 25.
So
that
depending on how they do it.
But they can't pull this shit in China. Actually, I think the movie did well in China because it's just a white bitch, and Chinese like white bitches.
Well, speaking of China, there was another story from China that there was a movie that had a really good opening night. It's like a Dwayne the Rock. Was it recently like Dwayne the Rock?
Skyscraper?
Probably Skyscraper.
Yeah, that's the only movie he did recently, I think.
That's the thing. The movie
because it's a big dumb disaster action movie, and Chinese love that shit.
Shut the fuck up. The movie did really well at opening night, but there were reports of half-empty theaters. So somebody bought out a lot of seats and then didn't show up. So it's like
but people actually saw Skyscraper.
So I think that there's it's not the isolated incident. This happened before.
Yeah. So what we're saying is that there's been multiple cases of somebody buying tickets in a fraudulent way.
But like no saw Captain Marvel. It's weird.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of posts, but I just mean they're individual people, but they're saying that they're empty theaters and shit all the time.
Well, again, if those were just photos from random people, they might as well come to the theater an hour early or half an hour early. How early you can get?
But
and,
even fucking Brie Larson couldn't hide that shit. Like even the movie theater she went to was fucking empty.
Oh, yeah, well, anyway, what I was trying to say.
Would she not show up to the premiere or some shit?
Well, no, her shtick was, oh, I'll go to this movie theater and among the commoners, and no one's fucking there.
That's great. That's hilarious.
It is.
Glebs, you were saying?
Yeah, I was
cringiest,
saying that,
dumbest white bitch who can't act. Go ahead.
What I was trying to say is that if those were just random people showing pictures of half-empty theaters, that wouldn't mean anything. You can fake it by going too early when there's nobody there. Take a picture. If you don't show timestamp, you might say, "Oh, 2 minutes before the start," and it actually was like 40 minutes before.
But why would hyper feminists who love Captain Marvel even post that shit? Because they did.
Well, you can unless those you can say that maybe those were created like fake feminist profiles created by.
No,
Fortune.
these are like old like hyper feminist profiles though.
Oh, that's a different thing. What I'm trying to say is that those not just random people were doing that. It's like reports from. Let's actually read the article because it's interesting.
All right.
Well, again, I don't want to put on my tinfoil fedora. It's up on the shelf.
Well, yeah, I mean it's circumstantial evidence, but it's something. It's not
It's
nothing.
still evidence of something.
Let's take
Not
a
a court.
It's interesting. So, new reports of empty theaters for Captain Marvel's weekend showings are the latest in the movie ongoing controversy. A number of Twitter users indicated there were empty seats at the number of Captain Marvel showings over the weekend. So, the Captain Marvel report from my local theater is shocking. Out of 22 showings on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there were more than 570 empty seats from advanced ticket buyers who never showed up. Advanced ticket buyers. That's interesting because if you are so dedicated that you buy tickets in advance, why wouldn't you show up? You already paid your money, so something is fishy there, right? While on Sunday there were only 4 no-shows for the movie all day. Oh, and he quotes his own tweet. My theater manager friend called me and told me something very interesting. He said for Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday, a great many Captain Marvel advance tickets buyers never showed up to see the movie. 20-30 seats were empty each showing, despite it being sold out. That's interesting. All of them are advanced ticket buyers. That's interesting. Okay, let's see what's next. The manager claimed he'd never seen anything like this in 20 years. Oh, no shit. Hundreds and hundreds of tickets were purchased online, but the buyers never arrived to watch the film. But again, if you buy online, those agencies where you buy through don't reveal who bought it and
like Fandango and that shit, and Amazon does the same thing.
Yeah.
So basically, if you want to buy your own tickets to bolster the sales, you do it online because it's harder to track. You won't go to the actual
Ticketmaster.
It would be really easy to defraud the box office online, probably, if you wanted to do that. I'm surprised this hasn't been something that's been tried before. But then again, movies weren't all that fucking political before.
Actually, it was tried before. It actually happened before. I'll find this link and show it.
Okay, let's keep going.
Oh, and let's see. I went Thursday night, and the theater was a little over half full. Comics division. There's my local theater. Yeah, this picture's like a lobby. It's really empty. I mean, here
lobbies are always fucking empty. That's bullshit.
Well, it depends on Friday night. But Friday night is actually when pretty much a lot of people would go. If you go on a weekday,
yeah, and if you catch a lobby while like almost all of the theaters are actually showing the movie, then there would be hardly anybody there.
Yeah,
like they
mean.
kind of have it come and go in waves, and there's points in the night where there's hardly anybody at the counter.
But it's like 10-20 Captain Marvel showing, like late night. Or was it 10-20 like PM? Yeah, Friday night. Well, it's a late showing, so maybe I don't know.
I don't know. It depends on where they are. Friday night is usually really busy at the movie theaters.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but even still, 10:20.
Yeah, 1:20 p.m. It's kind of late. Maybe that's why. Well, then again,
Nah. People like to go to the movie theaters late on Friday because they know they don't have to get up for work.
Fair enough. We spoke with a movie theater manager who asked for anonymity. He told us they had exactly 25 no-shows for every showing of Captain Marvel on Thursday, Saturday. So on each showing there were 25.
Exactly.
That's interesting. So they basically, someone bought 25 tickets for every showing of the movie and never showed up. Exactly 25. That's interesting because if you're going to fake, at least don't buy the same number of tickets every time. Come on, just vary it slightly. This is so lazy.
Bob was tired. He couldn't put in a random number generator for that algorithm. Come on.
It's almost as if someone used the bot to go and buy like in every theater everywhere.
Bob was tired. He had like a lunch break to code it.
Yeah. The manager told us this was definitely abnormal. If it's 25 exactly every time, that's more than just abnormal. That's suspicious as fuck. It's definitely not normal. People usually show up when they pay for tickets. I'm not sure what it is. We've seen big groups not show up before, but they get refund. Yeah, like if nobody got refunds for those, and exactly 25 each showing. Yeah, that's really stinks. I asked whether or not these tickets were purchased in bulk, but that information isn't available. I'm not sure if they were bought all at once because Fandango doesn't give us that information. Well, it's a good thing they don't share too much information about people who buy tickets, because I wouldn't want my information shared with third parties.
Even though they already do it and you know it.
Yeah, but well, at least they don't. Well, at least in this case, they don't share.
At least they're good at hiding it.
But exactly 25 shows for every show is probably statistically impossible. Yeah, exactly. It's really. I think they were all purchased in bulk. I mean, if you're buying from online, you can buy every single seat if you have the money. You don't care. So, anyways,
buy them all.
The manager would add, if they varied this a little and put in some showings more and some less, it wouldn't be wouldn't stick out like that, because usually people show up when they pay for a ticket. If they cannot show up, they cancel the ticket. So if you have only those who bought them not to show up like this, they would be the only ones not to show up, and it would be 25 people every time. So that they didn't think it through. Well, at least they have the media in their pocket to call all those people who raise questions about it, like alt-right incel troll, misogynist Russian bots, something. Manager would add, I would say it's someone trying to make the ticket sales look better than they really were. Yeah, that's pretty much. Also, apparently, this guy was interviewed by this website, so they actually made sure he was actually a manager from a movie theater, not some random person. So again, why would a manager lie about this?
Yeah, what's his name? Shane Dawson, that apparently just hired a guy who just specially got hired to Chuck E. Cheese for like a week. He's like, oh yeah, you work there.
You mean Chuck Cheese?
What?
Because there's a conspiracy that at Chuck E. Cheese they recycle all the slices of pizza that are not eaten.
It is actually legit.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't give a damn how cheap the place is. They are not going to do that because a random health inspector happens to be in there undercover. You're fucked.
Yeah, I will say that only once in my life, when I was really young, I ever ate at a Chuck E. Cheese. The food is nasty.
So
I never wanted to go there again.
The conspiracy is there because people apparently sometimes they get their pizza and sometimes the half don't match. So maybe they just make. Can you buy just a slice?
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe they reconstruct and like half pizzas. It's like, well, it's like fuck it, they're already out. So
yeah,
I don't see why they would do that, because pizzas. I'd be surprised if they do that, because pizzas are so cheap to make that it just seems like a dumb idea.
But that way you can send out the pizza quicker than having them wait like 15 minutes.
I heard some things about how the pizza was basically, it had the consistency of cardboard, and then
That's basically Chuck E. Cheese does what I call truck stop pizza. It's pretty much that is about what it's like.
Oof.
Let me guess, it's frozen pizza, isn't it?
Pretty much. I mean, you might have one that actually makes pizza, but a lot of times it is just pre-prepped, throw it in the oven, heat it up, and go.
Yeah, that I'm sure.
By the way, speaking of fast food, did you know that at one point KFC actually sued Colonel Sanders for defamation and lost?
Damn.
So the story was that in one interview he said that KFC food was he didn't like it. It wasn't very good. So they well, it was obviously after he sold his business to them, and so they sued him and lost the court case. Imagine the company suing the guy who is on their logo.
Yeah, and they lost. And they lost.
There's something about food franchise that are always doing frivolous lawsuits, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could see why they did it, because he was interviewed and talking shit about when your own mascot just talks shit about your food. It's not good for business.
I think KFC food is fine, except for the fact that whenever you order the chicken, a lot of times you'd be lucky if hardly any of that piece of chicken is actually chicken and not gristle or fat or just batter that's fried real thick.
Apparently, the colonels, when they changed the 11 spices and shit, they apparently jumped over the counter and showed them how it's done.
Oh yeah, that's the thing is that he actually it happened that he was going, he would go to some random KFC, and if he didn't like how they prepare the food, he would just jump over the counter to show how it's really done.
I'll be honest with you guys. Harlan Sanders was a fucking madlad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, you know why he didn't like KFC food? Because they didn't stick with his recipe. Apparently, people who tried said that his original recipe was amazing. That's why he became so famous, and KFC bought it from him. Well, someone bought it from him, made KFC. But the thing is that to prepare chicken wings using his recipe, it's really cumbersome and kind of expensive. So they simplified the recipe a lot, and apparently it's nowhere near as good as the original one. Which makes sense. I think it's
Darren, might I add something from that rant of yours?
What about KFC?
No, yeah. Basically, or if it was cooked in the case of the KFC in my town, because here's what happened: we ordered the chicken at least. Okay, let me get my thoughts real quick. I went to a KFC, and then I ate the food, and I thought the chicken came out raw.
It's
raw. Yeah,
that sounds really gross, but it's possible. I used to eat fast food all the time, and since moving to Florida, I guess it's been good for my health. I don't eat fast food anymore because there isn't a single fast food restaurant down here, except for maybe some Burger Kings, that actually make the food right. Even the Taco Bells, where literally everything in a Taco Bell is pre-packaged, and it's just put the thing together, heat it, give it to the customer. There, you don't cook any fucking goddamn thing at a Taco Bell. Taco Bell should be impossible to fuck it up. They fuck it up. They fuck up everything at every fucking fast food place.
You're in Florida. That's your own fucking fault for ordering food in that shit part of country.
Yeah. Oh,
no, I live in the nice ass rich Jew part of Florida. It's just
it is.
Who's
still
working.
Florida. It's like
who's working at all the fast food restaurants.
I had the best diarrhea of my life. It's like, well, it's still diarrhea.
Yeah, because fast food was great when I lived in Texas, but down here, the people running all the fast food restaurants, they're
KFC is really total shit now. I tried it twice, and it's like every time for 6 hours straight afterwards, I was just burping and the heartburn, just no.
I just mean, you ever go to a Taco Bell and the whole burrito's sideways? like instead of rolling it correctly, so that all the ingredients are
that
even.
shit sucks.
It's like a wall of fucking sour cream, and then a wall of beef, and then a wall of rice. Yeah, they do that like every fucking time, and it's cold. So I fucking can't order Taco Bell anymore.
There is no I don't know if there's a Taco Bell like in Montreal, but I haven't seen a Taco Bell ever.
Real talk, the Taco Bells in Puerto Rico are also fucked up. They do the same procedure as the ones from the mainland. Yeah, and when it comes to ordering the how should I say this? The fries with ground beef and then some. Yeah, they always overdo it.
But you know what the really good thing is for people who don't ever want to eat at Taco Bell anymore, but still want to get Mountain Dew Baja Blast? You know what the fucking Mountain Dew Baja Blast is? You know what all it is? It's fucking Mountain Dew and Blue Powerade. That's all it is. You can make it yourself.
You can also buy it at fucking Dollar General too.
Well, like I'm in a part of the country where you can't find the fucking bottled kind, but Baja Blast is basically just Powerade mixed with Mountain Dew. I swear to God.
Yeah, you can buy it at fucking Dollar General here. It's great.
You really tell us that Mountain Dew Baja Blast is basically Powerade mixed with Mountain Dew.
Yeah, the Blue Powerade and Mountain Dew. That's what it is.
That's insane.
Makes sense. I mean, they make both. Why not?
Yeah, it might be a little bit heavier on the syrup portion of the Blue Powerade mix, but it's basically Blue Powerade.
Well, they are owned by Coca-Cola, so...
No, they're all made by Pepsi. Yeah, no, same thing though.
The article?
Because sorry, go ahead. Anytime you want to cut us off, you're free to go, Gleb. It's your show.
Yeah. So they don't know if those tickets were purchased like in one bulk or one by one. So this information is unavailable. The manager would add, I would say, someone trying to make that. Yeah, that's what it is. He would also indicate he saw significant drop-offs in ticket sales from Sunday at his theater. Yeah, if a movie is a stinker, the drop-off from the first, for the first weekend is big. Okay, let's see. Sunday for Captain Marvel wasn't good, and Monday and Tuesday were terrible. They were like 75% drop-off from Sunday. Well, to be fair, like Monday is not very popular for moviegoers to begin with. I mean, it's a weekday, but still, 75% is too much, especially if it's like a Marvel property, which is Marvel movies are really popular. So, okay, box office mojo reports Captain Marvel's Sunday take was only 38.8 million at the domestic box office. Oh, by the way, speaking of box office, usually in the U.S. media, when they talk about opening week or opening weekend, they talk about domestic gross. But in case of Captain Marvel, for some reason they talked about worldwide gross. And it's they still worldwide, and it's not dishonest on the surface, but since everyone was expecting like domestic growth, they might not notice that they used a different metric, and if you don't think about it, subconsciously it seems to be bigger than it actually is. So again, it's interesting, and given how there are shills for Disney in every single publication, and there are so many of them, and they're so blatant. And as I mentioned in my newest video, wink wink, you should go watch it on my main channel. And it's really good, if I may say so myself. Seriously, all those Disney. I look at 3 of those journalists who reviewed The Last Jedi, like objectively bad movie, and those I nearly from the amount of. They were tossing Ryan Johnson's salad so hard that they polished his asshole to a mirror shine. Seriously, like a visual. You think that they are talking about what's the name of the director of The Shining and 2001?
Stanley Kubrick.
You think oh, sorry. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, you were saying The Shining, and sorry, I thought you meant never mind. It was Kubrick.
Yeah. Oh, they were praising Ryan Johnson as some sort of genius. He's fucking not. I mean,
he's not. I haven't seen the other movies he's directed besides Looper, and he hasn't directed a lot of major motion picture releases besides Looper. Yeah, Ryan Johnson did Looper. That was the big thing he did.
That was actually a pretty decent movie.
I like it because Bruce Willis and God, I can't remember that guy's name. The guy who plays Robin in Dark Knight Rises. What's his name again? Shit, he's got 3 names. He's one of the guys with 3 names. It's
I
not
don't know. I
Jonathan
mean,
Taylor
I
Thomas.
also like really bad cheesy sci-fi.
Yeah, I like the actors in that movie. In the first hour of Looper is interesting, and then it just goes completely batshit insane.
So Looper is like with time travel where they bring best to kill them, so not to leave.
Yeah. Basically, They think that they are hit.
Yeah, if you actually think about the movie for 5 seconds, it's fucking retarded.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't explain the plot because the plot makes no fucking sense. Don't even try.
Yeah, because they have fucking trackers in their bodies in that timeline. So no, it doesn't work like that, you fucking retard.
Nothing about that movie works except for the acting is kind of
Hey,
good.
sir, we found your tracker in the middle of the woods, but you're still alive.
Because what? They'd still be fucking alive after you kill them, you idiot.
No, it's actually if you bring someone, depending on what kind of time travel, how in this universe they deal with how they explain the time paradox. If you create a new timeline, or do you
It's weird because they actually have a sequence in the film where a guy is getting killed in the past and his future self is losing limbs slowly.
In real time.
Yes,
He's losing limbs in real time.
It's the most retarded thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So he's walking down the street and he falls over because in the past they cut off his foot and his foot just disappears in real time, which makes literally no fucking sense whatsoever.
And he reacts to it like, "Oh my god, this just happened."
And people would write messages to the younger Bruce Willis character would write messages to the older Bruce Willis by cutting shit in his arms, that if you looked at his arms, the message just appears. He wrote him an instant messages in his arm. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, well, because he did it bad enough where it was permanently scarred.
Yeah.
No, but the fact is, that information would have arrived to Bruce, ever since then. How do you fucking forget this? Just don't think about it. I'm a round-headed little faggot.
You know where they use the same shit? Remember this Bioshock Infinite, where it was always there, I just didn't know it was there. Remember?
Yeah. And Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, which is an even worse clone of Bioshock Infinite, if that's even possible.
Bioshock Infinite only works because the main character supposedly has amnesia for some fucking reason.
No, he's just straight up retarded.
I guess.
He is. He is straight up retarded. He's the definition of inbred.
I was interested in that game until the end, and I went, "Oh, wait a minute, that's it? Oh, that's fucking stupid."
Yeah. Apparently, the game was supposed to be better, and then Ken Levine cucked out.
Huh.
There was a lot of shit they cut out of that game.
I was willing to put up with the social justice warriors and the ghosts with fucking mega horns for faces. I was willing to put up with all of that if the plot had an interesting conclusion. It did not. It sucked.
The gunplay was awful. The fucking amazing revolutionary technology was that Elizabeth is invulnerable to damage and nobody will target her.
I might upset some people by saying Bioshock 1, 2, and Bioshock Infinite are all overrated as fuck, but none are as overrated as Bioshock Infinite. That one's really kind of bad.
Bioshock 1 is overrated.
They're all
1
overrated.
kicks its ass. I'm sorry. It does. Fuck you.
Fight me.
Yeah. No, System Shock 1 is so underrated.
I'm not saying Bioshock 1 or 2 are bad. They're not bad. They're okay. They're good-ish.
That's fine.
Yeah. They're not bad at all.
Yeah, System Shock 1
They're
I
not
think
great,
has better,
though. Not at all.
It has tighter level design and obviously a better story.
Oh, yes. Of course System Shock is better.
I'm talking about 1, though, which people haven't played, and they should, because there's no excuse.
I've played part of it, but I keep getting, kind of dead-ended by making a bad character or making bad decisions, and you can fuck yourself in that game really bad.
Yep. It's great. Well, I didn't tell you about the time where
I never beat it, but it's way more interesting, yeah.
Where I first entered the elevator to go to the level 2, and a glitch or something sent 12 fucking zomboids the moment I opened the fucking door to level 2 in my face. It actually lagged my game out. I just kept lobbing grenades and shut the door.
I just remembered that you can really fuck yourself and make the game really hard on yourself.
Oh yes, it's great. It's fantastic.
Because I just assumed it was balanced. It's not.
No, not.
It's not balanced at all. There is a easy way to spec your character and a fucking hard way, and I picked the wrong way.
Because it's a role-playing game, faggot.
Yeah.
That's the thing. By the way, it's the game. It was made by. It wasn't a big studio, by the way. So
Yeah, it was Looking Glass Studio. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, but the thing is that those like it wasn't like a triple. It was more like double A, and the
Yeah,
game,
it was double A, where innovation happens.
Usually, you should expect some level of jank from those kind of games.
No, I wouldn't even call it jank. I mean, like in a role-playing game, there are easy ways and there are hard ways to spec your character, and the plot will fucking reflect, and the story you make will reflect that.
Yeah,
that's true. So if there's some if
you're a bard, don't fucking walk into a fist fight.
Yeah, that's the thing. If there's choice, there will be ways to make the wrong choices. So,
well,
the problem is when the games don't show you, don't explain to you how they work, so you don't even know if you're making the bad choice. Sometimes they are very bad at explaining.
The game is badly designed when Darkside Phil is right when you say the game doesn't explain anything.
Well, I mean,
you don't want to be that game.
It's not like Darkside Phil is gonna listen anyway, but if he's actually right that the game doesn't explain anything, it's a bad sign.
This game doesn't explain shit.
It's okay if games don't explain things as long as it's possible to figure them out.
Yeah.
Like Dark Souls doesn't explain shit about the way the stats work, but you can actually kind of look at them and figure it out for the most part. But really, ultimately, the stats don't matter very much. Yeah.
It is not a difficult game.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
It's not. It's definitely not difficult when you learn how to play it. It's like nobody knows how to play what do you call it? Guitar Hero until they get good, or learn how to play an instrument until they get good.
Entirely fucking skill based.
Well, Dark Souls is a skill. It's just not as hard as everybody.
No, I would argue it's actually easier than something like Guitar Hero.
Oh yeah. It took me less time to learn
because you have more options to play Dark Souls than you do Guitar Hero.
Oh, by the way, I saw a video of someone finishing Dark Souls with a Guitar Hero controller.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's totally doable. You could literally beat the entire game. You could beat the entire game buck naked with a stick at level 1.
Since we already forgot about the topic, I wanted, before I forgot about this article, just to show that Captain Marvel isn't the only movie.
That's
yeah.
interesting.
But box office fraud could mean up to 40% of ticket sales are missing. Let's see.
That is a lot.
That's interesting.
So okay,
I'm gonna get more purple drink. You keep going.
Well, it's not quite the same because it says that let's see. So it says it's probably different, but let's see. Cinemas sometimes don't record individual ticket sales, or sometimes entire screening sessions are part of a ploy to keep cash payments. Theaters also known to report U.S. films as domestic releases to make state-funded films look more. Well, it's different. It's more like they're scamming their own government.
It's China. What do you expect?
Yeah, but still, it can be done on a grand scale. So, well, China is set to become the world's largest film market. Well, no shit. Okay, so...
As with everything else, China will go larger. That's a terrible fact. But, here's the thing. Sometimes it's the Chinese-made films that are actually blockbusters and not the foreign ones.
Well, by the way, has anyone here seen any Chinese movies? Because I don't think I have. I'm kind of interested. What kind of movies they make?
These guys, they're usually into romantic comedies, martial art movies from Hong Kong.
They also tend to make a lot of movies based on traditional folklore too. And I'm not even talking about like making, like a retelling of some fairy tale or whatever else. Like they will have like modern movies with classic folktale characters, that have, like that have fallen into some regular chick's life.
Okay, so anyways, the thing about that article, it's really like only tangentially related. It's more like the Chinese movie theaters are scamming their government because the movie theaters get more revenue from domestic movies than from foreign ones. So they sometimes report ticket sales that were for actually foreign movies as if they were for domestic movies. So. And other times, some really creative accounting going on.
Okay, let me find a couple. Well, if you can watch them later, that's fine. I can link you some things from China Uncensored that regarding the Chinese movie market. I'll do it later, or if you want to watch it now, that's fine.
Maybe later. I think we might as well kind of wrap it up for today.
I did want to bring up before we closed out just real quick that hilarious thing I found out about David Pakman. That thing wouldn't take more than 5-10 minutes to go over, but it's pretty hilarious. So I was watching, somebody made a video about David Pakman. David Pakman had reported, honestly, because he's an idiot, that after Trump's tax cuts, that David Pakman paid significantly less income taxes to the government on his recent taxes this year, like way less. And his response to Donald Trump saving him a fuckload of money was, "Oh, I'm not happy about this. I would rather the government take my money and give it to welfare programs and shit." And I sent it to Gleb and I was going like, this is proof that David Pakman is the dumbest fucking progressive on YouTube. I know not a lot of people agree with me on that, but I used to think David Pakman was an evil liar, but now I'm much more convinced he's on the other side of Hanlon's razor. He's a fucking retard. Because if you want to give your money to the needy, there's a word for that.
Charity.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was waiting for somebody to say it. Just donate it to charity if you don't want it. If you think somebody needy should have it, why do you want the government to fucking run a racket on that and take like 3/4 of it and give a few pennies to the fucking poor when you could just give your money straight to the poor? Fuck. Like, what do you mean you want the fucking government to take your money, nigga? Can't you just fucking give to charity, nigga? Put it all in a hobo's fucking cup, nigga. What are you doing? Like, close your eyes. Cyberbullying ain't real. What are you, fucking retarded?
Wait, you know what's the difference? He actually doesn't want just his money. He wants everyone's money to be extorted. That's the difference.
Yeah.
He's just that stupid. He never once crossed his mind that charity was an option. He's just a fucking retard.
Just give it straight. Just removing a middleman, that's already a very good thing.
I could be wrong because I cannot stand David Pakman. I think he's one of the most loathsome people on YouTube. I'd rather watch TYT because at least TYT is funny.
Yeah.
Fucking, but like I hate David Pakman, but I used to think he was one of these sinister people with an agenda. I really think he's just fucking stupid. Because the more I see him say things like that, like if Cenk Uygur saved money on his tax returns, he would tell nobody. He wouldn't tell a fucking soul about it. If Cenk Uygur paid less taxes this year, wouldn't tell nobody.
No, he wouldn't.
He's not that fucking stupid.
No,
he's stupid. He's not that stupid.
No, he's not stupid enough to tell people he's gonna send money to Qatar.
Yeah, and the other thing is Cenk Uygur actually is an evil fucking liar. I really think David Pakman might just be a complete fucking retard. It blows my mind. He's like, I think it's a bad thing that Trump saved me like $12,000. I'm like, no, you fucking idiot. If you don't want that $12,000, go straight to the charity of your choice. Just give the money away. Or you know, the other hilarious thing is you can still write it off again.
Yeah. Or even you can even remove another middleman of a charity and just give it to a complete stranger. Like, I don't know.
Like I said, just
like me.
Just put it in
I need money.
Yeah, I'd take it.
Speaking about dumbass Davids, if anybody wants to look into the whole how some people have gotten busted on college admission frauds lately.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
David Hogg has been roped into his college admission is now being looked at.
Yeah, because isn't there been like 1 million rich people have been falsifying like SAT scores and shit?
Yup.
Yeah, but now
Panama
they're
Papers
actually
all
looking
over
at
again.
David Hogg, the Parkland kid. They're actually looking at his Harvard thing.
The fucking
I remember
mongoloid,
the articles even talking about his SAT score was at least something around 300 points lower than the average. Harvard.
Well, the weird thing is that everybody looked at his.
I'm not gonna lie.
Everybody looked at David Hogg's school records when Harvard said, "Oh, we want him," for PR purposes, and they went, he doesn't have the GPA or the SAT scores to get into Harvard under normal circumstances, right? They're like, "Yeah, we don't care." But I guess I don't know if they're getting re-roped into this, or even after they already lowered their standards for him, he's still falsified test scores. That would be hilarious.
Given that this scandal is, they'll probably get rid of him because now they're already under fire for.
Yeah. I was about to say they wouldn't even had needed to catch him on the falsifying records part, because the thing is, all the people who had been falsifying test results and stuff have been edging out people who are not fraudulently doing that and preventing them from getting placements in these colleges. And it's like a huge multi-billion-dollar lawsuit against like multiple Ivy League schools over this. And the fact that they openly accepted David Hogg in when he doesn't meet the normal criteria of getting into the school just because of PR means he probably could be held up as evidence of wrongdoing by the university without him ever directly trying to cheat anything.
Yeah. Well, also David Hogg as well has pretty much burnt out his usefulness. That's the reason why people you notice he is very rarely, if ever, in the news anymore.
Well, his 15 minutes are up.
Yeah, basically he has outlived his usefulness.
What happened to Emma Gonzalez? I don't know.
Goodbye.
Yeah, you notice that none of them, because they weren't effective. They're and they're too old now, basically.
I hope they weren't effective. They basically admitted to having bullied the guy before.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe it was just a very elaborate anti-bullying campaign. Probably didn't work. It's like when people say that that guy, the guy who shut up shit in New Zealand, somebody said that it's that's why we don't need to bolster them. We need to bully them. And it's like, and then I just responded, well, yeah, that way they're not gonna shoot mosques. They're just gonna shoot their local high school.
Yeah, actually, the New Zealand guy is amusing as hell, because the media reports that they realize that he has even said he wants the media to misinterpret everything he says and does to start a civil war. Well, and then the next they turn around and big ass headline: New Zealand shooter flashes white power sign. It's like, just wow.
Well, he could have just said, "Hey guys, I'm gonna slap you in the face," and then people just like, yeah, they don't even cover their face because they're stupid.
Well, so much for not talking about the New Zealand shooter.
Yes,
we're all gonna go to a Mossad prison. Goddamn.
It's weird how many conspiracy theories are already up. Is it true that the footage is really iffy?
Well, it's not that it's iffy. It's that in New Zealand you will actually go to jail if the cops decide to search you and find that you have a copy of it with you.
I just saw so many people on Twitter saying the video looks fake, but I've heard
the video
who watched it.
That video was real as fuck.
Yeah, I've heard from people who watched it that it did not look fake, so it must be.
It's like people saying, "Oh, it's a false flag" or whatever. It's like, why would you fake it while you can do it for real?
It's cheaper to do it for real, unfortunately.
Well, the thing is that some people misinterpret the term false flag. False flag doesn't mean it's not happening. It means that it's is attributed to someone else, or it's the event is real. It's just being misreported or misattributed. That's false flag. It's like, for example, in Reichstag building was burned by Nazis to blame communists for political reasons, or like agents of Mossad were caught planting bombs in the U.S. embassy in Egypt. Yeah, it was Egypt. Well, the bombs were real. It's just the terrorists weren't exactly who they were supposed to look like. Or, like, for example, Colby, whatever. I think that when in Russia there was, Chechen terrorists were blamed for building being blown up, but there was a lot of really, really iffy stuff going on with this, and I think it was a false flag by the intelligence agency as a pretense for the Second Chechen War. So there's that. Call me a conspiracy theorist if you want, but there's this.
Well, it's Russia, so maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the only convincing conspiracy theory I've heard about this is that the guy was radicalized by Salafis, and he was just sent there to shoot the Sunnis as this ridiculous meme pretext as cover.
I don't know. It's like, I don't think
which is still kind of iffy, but like the actual narrative doesn't make any sense if you look at it.
Subscribe to Hamid.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's like, well, the other thing is like he has all these themes, but not one happy merchant. Really?
Well, he's actually said that he has no problems with Jews. So.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't you read his manifesto?
I did, but that still doesn't make any sense. Because you would still do that even as a joke.
Yeah.
There's a newspaper in Puerto Rico called Metro, and it's blaming Fortnite for the shooting.
Oh yeah.
I am.
Totally to be honest, though, I mean, like I was looking through my memes earlier, and it's like I actually don't have a happy merchant because, to be honest, like I really don't see many opportunities to use one, so I haven't bothered trying to find one.
Well, no, but like he has literally every other Paul fucking traps aren't gay. Like really, like not even a variation of it.
Oh,
it's just odd.
It is strange.
Yeah.
You're way too much into this.
Like people use the happy merchant meme not because they're anti-Semites. It's because it's its own meme.
Well, he didn't have a Pepe either, so.
Yeah, that was weird. He maybe he knew that Pepe and Kyrgyzstan were fucking outdated that even a shooter wouldn't use them.
Or maybe it was about.
You heard that, Sargon?
Really
yeah, Kyrgyzstan is dead, man. Let it go. Oh,
yep,
hold on.
it's all about Wojak
I can
now.
understand Pepe not being there because it's not actually a racist symbol.
Guys,
imagine that.
Let me quote something real quick. I train in Fortnite so I can floss on my opponents, I can floss on my enemies. When I read that, I fucking lost my shit. He unironically wrote, I train in Fortnite so I can floss on my enemies.
I train in Halo so I could teabag mine.
Yeah,
I mean, we're not going to know what actually happened for years.
Louis, you need to have your cousin's parent believe that, so that way he won't be allowed to play Fortnite anymore.
Oh, you mean my nephew?
Oh, your nephew. Sorry.
Yeah, you should. You should actually do that.
This is evil plan.
Oh, it's happening! It's happening!
It's happening!
Oh, Glove, it goes off, man.
Also, he also said that he was radicalized by Spyro 3.
Yeah, it's like
it's like how can you can't take this guy seriously?
Yeah,
in that respect.
Half of it is just a meme, so it's gonna be hard to know what is true.
And then there's a fact in The Getaway, he used the song "Gas, Gas, Gas" by Manuel,
and also the "Remove Kebab" song. Like the entire thing is suspect.
Serbia Strong, the Grenadier March, the song when he entered the car, I didn't recognize, and then there was Initial D. It's like, oh my god.
Yes.
That guy was literally like just missing a re when he opened fire. It's like, fucking Normus! Re!
I'm surprised he hasn't thrown Nyan Cat in there.
The what?
I'm surprised he hasn't thrown Nyan Cat in. It's a cat that's made out of a Pop-Tart.
Giant cat. I thought you were
I
saying
am really
Manic
impressed that he managed to get the circle game symbol in there, the so-called white power symbol, because
people are censoring
Yeah,
it
and
on
people
the
actually
articles
fucking
online.
fell for it. And when I told an artist he was retarded for like really, you're so smart you can't see this as me. He blocked me because he was ass mad. Of course, he worked on Subnautica, so of course he's a fag.
Oh, he works on Subnautica.
Speaking of, since we all mentioned, I need to show something.
Yeah. See, that's why I said I meant nine cat.
He flies through space with the power of Jewish ashes.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yes,
Go ahead. You wanna know something interesting? A guy in Puerto Rico actually invented that fucking meme. I'm serious. Yeah, a Puerto Rican guy invented Nyan Cat.
Really?
Yeah. Haven't you watched the video?
Nyan Hey, it works.
Haven't you watched Behind the Meme?
No, I haven't.
I know it's just the most uninteresting YouTuber ever.
Yeah, it was made by a guy named Chris Torres, but his online name was PR Guitar Man. He was living in Texas, but he's a Puerto Rican. I was like, fuck, when I learned that.
Anyways, the thing about Behind the Meme, well, recently-ish, he pulled a really stupid stunt, like pretending to commit suicide, and then just said that it was something about awareness. Some stupid shit like this, and
a series of like 5 videos over a week.
I was only pretending to be retarded.
Well, maybe he actually wanted to commit suicide, but pussied out at the last moment. Who knows? I mean, if I, was such a boring YouTuber, I might consider it myself.
Yeah.
I'm not boring. I'm just never make videos. But yeah.
Yeah.
Every time you wear those glasses, you're just going through some imitation.
I don't think we're gonna figure out whatever happened to this guy with this guy until like a year later at minimum.
Yeah.
Well, or I might not figure out it like ever. Like,
nah,
for example,
we're gonna
if he ends up
find it.
If he ends up in jail, he's gonna get killed.
Oh, we never knew what was going on with Vegas guy.
Yeah. Well, then again, he's dead, so it's not like he's going to tell anyone anything.
Yeah, no, the fact that he actually lived long enough to go to jail tells me that he actually was a real shooter.
Yeah. Well, no, nobody ever said he actually didn't do it.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I have seen people talk about how it is that because everybody knows the Democrats are going to stage a mass shooting before 2020 because they want, they need to try to fuck the election up. The fact that he actually survived long enough to actually get to the jail says that no, he's not a Democrat false flag op.
Well, no, because it's in fucking New Zealand.
Yeah.
If they were going to do that, they'd do it in the country.
Guys, please, Glebs, go on.
Yeah, but I was trying to say that. Yeah, I was trying to say the same thing. That if it was like something done by powers in America, then why would it go on in New Zealand? That makes no sense. But then again, some retards on Twitter, some blue check marks are don't know that New Zealand is not a U.S. territory because blue check marks.
Hey, Oswald made it to jail before Jack Ruby got to him.
I would say
the thing is that the Democrats are going to jump on any chance to push gun control anyway, and this guy is so focused, like I want to start a civil war in America. So yeah, the friggin' alternative thought communities, apparently calling them conspiracy theorists annoys them. We're all over about talking about how it is that he was actually, some sort of false flag operation staged by whoever specifically against America. And I'm like, no, people, he survived long enough to go to jail. He's a real guy that did this on his own.
So far, the word on the street is that he's an accelerationist. You guys know what that is? One of these accelerationist people.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
They think that the best way to help conservatives is actually to make leftists win as fast as possible, which would then let them create a dystopian state so that the conservatives will rise up and fucking overthrow them in a civil war. So that there are some people who are such black-pilled retards that they think that the best way to help us is to help our enemy as much as possible, so that it provokes a violent resolution.
Yeah, to make them realize how fucked they are.
It doesn't work that way. Some fucking
No, it's
countries
like what
never
Jim
bounce
said about a
back from that
controlled
kind of
demolition. If you don't place the charges in the right spot, you get a fucking disaster.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyways, I think it's probably a good time to wrap it up for today because it's like it's almost 6 p.m. So, anyways, thanks to everyone who joined us, who watched us. We still have viewers somehow, which is then again, we actually managed to almost not talk over each other and actually somewhat even stay true to the topic most of the time. So, which is already by our standards, it's amazing.
Well done, team.
I won't show the picture that says that today's show was pointless because it wasn't.
This time it wasn't.
We had a good show.
As always, it was my privilege. So see you next time, and stay problematic.
Save the world. Kill yourself.
Yeah.
Take care.